Hello bang, kita akan start in 1 minute's time ah. Okay, ready ya?
Test. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. We will begin now. Okay. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning and salam sejahtera to everyone. Welcome to the final day of the Faculty of Medicine Research Carnival 2022. So today we are blessed to have representatives from the MACNA, as well as previous recipients, to be sharing with us on the funding opportunities that MACNA provides, as well as some tips and tricks and some sort of like personal journey towards executing a MACNA-funded project. So the theme of the Research Carnival has been very much about innovation, about taking your fundamental research to the next steps and turning it into something practical. But today we'll be sort of going a few steps back into the first few steps on how to generate our or realize our ideas into some proof of concepts or preliminary results first. And that is how MACNA grants will be able to help us in realizing the first few steps in turning our ideas into innovation. So without further ado, I would like to invite our first speaker. But before that, let me explain a bit briefly on her background. So our first speaker will be Professor Dr. Cheong Sok Ching. So Dr. Cheong is the Deputy Chief Scientific Officer at Cancer Research Malaysia. Her research aims to improve management and survival of cancer patients through the understanding of the underlying molecular changes and through the development of novel treatment approaches. Focusing on head and neck cancers. These include the development of immunotherapy based on head and neck cancer antigens and the identification of novel targets for head and neck cancer using CRISPR-Cas9 functional screening. In addition, she also focuses her research on early detection using innovative strategies, including the development of novel mobile health tools. Professor Cheong has received grants from national and international funding bodies, including the Newton Unku Omar Fund, Newton Fund Impact Scheme, Global Challenges Research Fund, and the Ministry of Science, Technology and Innovation Smart Fund, amongst others. In recognition of her research contributions, she has received several national and international scientific awards, most recently the President's Award by the International Association of Oral Maxillofacial Pathologists, IAOP. So without further ado, because we are very short on time today, we have to finish by 10. I'd like to invite Prof. Cheong to deliver her talk on the introduction to MACNA research grants.
Good morning, everyone. Those who are present, I really thank you for your commitment in coming here. It's really nice to see people in person, and good morning also to everybody online. I'm not sure how many have registered online. I don't have the view of that. This morning, I'm just going to give a brief overview on the MACNA grants. I was privileged enough to chair the grant review committee for 2 years, and I'm here representing the committee. And after me, Professor Koh Chong Lek, who is also on the review committee, will also share his experiences of the committee as we review the grants to give you some insights on what we are going to look for when we review MAGNA grants, and actually any grants not unique to MAGNA, but these pointers will be really important, particularly for young scientists venturing out to propose your new projects. But even if you're a very seasoned researcher, I'm sure you will pick up a few pointers from Professor Koh. So this morning, my task is just to give you an overview on the offerings of MAGNA, for which I would like to, on behalf of all researchers in Malaysia, express our gratitude for MAGNA in raising funds to support two kinds of research here in Malaysia, specifically focusing on cancer. And we know that prevention is the number one thing we need to do if we want to try and reduce the impact of cancer. But of course, if we cannot prevent, then we need to detect early. And once detected early, we need to be able to offer cancer patients the best treatment that is the most suitable for them, giving them the highest chance of survival. And this is really in line with the research mission of MAGNA. So there are two, in general, there are two main pillars, I think, of the MAGNA grant, and two are pretty different. And today I would like to just highlight some of these differences so that those of you in the audience who would like to apply for these grants, choose the ones that are most relevant to you, to give you a high chance of getting the award. So the first one is really the MAGNA research grants, which is specifically targeting at young scientists. So if you're somebody coming back from your PhD, and I'm really, really glad to see Dr. Farid in the audience today and the MC, because he's returned from London. And we hope that there will be many people coming home, even if you did your degree overseas, and the ones who are doing your degree here, we want to give you the best chance of starting your career. So this is a grant for somebody who's starting your career. And the grant is really a seed grant, so it's not a huge grant, but it allows you to generate preliminary data so that you're able then to get a larger grant. So thus far, after many, many years of supporting researchers in Malaysia, MAGNA has funded 63 research grants under this scheme. And many of them have gone on to do larger projects, which we are very pleased to see. So if you're applying for this grant, what you really need to demonstrate is that you have a good idea, right? And you have some track record, even though we don't expect a lot. But what we're really looking forward to see is, what does success look for you, and what does this grant set you up to do? What is your next step beyond this grant if you get this grant, right? Because we want to use this grant to spearhead your career. Like I said, these grants are not large because they are simply a seed grant, so they would not exceed 50,000. And I'm not going to go through this in very detail, because these are the criteria that you will see from the guideline anyway. But what I would urge the applicants to do is to really focus on these points when you write your proposal, and even after you finish writing your proposal, try and figure out whether you hit all these points or not, because the guidelines are here for a reason, and the marking scheme will follow these guidelines and the weightage of the guidelines as well. The second part of the MAGNA grants is a larger grant, which is a MAGNA Cancer Research Collaboration Fund. And this grant is not limited to young scientists, but what we're really looking for is a larger project. And when we say larger project, it means that who are you collaborating with? What do you bring to the table? What is your niche area? And who are you collaborating with to bring other niche areas to make your project successful? So even if you are a seasoned researcher, this could be a grant for you, and the maximum amount is 300,000. Again, there are some criteria, and your project must fall into one of these three categories, which is not difficult: either prevention, focusing on behavioral science, so more of the community-based research, or cancer prevention using biomarkers and early detection, and also cancer treatment. So if your project meets these areas of interest, then again, think of how you can hit all the criterias in terms of the doability and what is the track record. In this sense, the track record of the applicant is quite important, and the track record of you collaborating with the collaborators that you are suggesting should also be quite strong in order to fulfill the criteria of this grant. So I'm going to stop here because Prof. Koh is going to share with us, and I would like to give him more time because of in-depth sharing. Where are the most common mistakes and what are the things that you need to do in order to hit all the right notes in order to get high marks for your grant application. So thank you very much for attending the session, and I wish you all the best in applying for your next Magna grant. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Prof. Chong, for the very brief but yet very informative session. So I hope it demystifies some of our misconceptions that Magna only fund young researchers, but there's also a bigger fund for seasoned researchers as well. So next we have Professor Dr. Chong Lek Koh. So a bit of a background on Prof. Koh. So he did his PhD in London and had 48 years of experience from 1970 to 2018 of eminent academic record at universities and research institutes in Malaysia, Singapore, England, Germany, and a few more countries. So from July 2018, he is the Chief Scientific Officer of Gene Express Sdn Bhd, a direct-to-consumer DNA testing company in Malaysia. In 1993, he was the first scientist in Malaysia to provide DNA typing service for human identification of parentage testing. In 2000, he was a member of the team that discovered Malaysian island flying foxes at the natural animal reservoir of Nipah virus. He holds a degree and master's in genetics from UM and a PhD in biochemistry and DIC from the University of London and Imperial College of Science and Technology, England. He was elected a Fellow of the Academy of Sciences in 1999 and has since received many awards, including the inaugural MSMBB Distinguished Scientist Award, the MSMBB Applied Biosystems Award, and the Malaysia Torres Science Foundation's 1996 Science and Technology Award. Many of his students has received research grants, scholarship, and awards, and he has used his expertise to serve the academia, community, government, and industry. Currently, he is actively promoting biotechnopreneurship and financial literacy among scientists and non-scientists. So without further ado, I'd like to invite Prof. Koh on stage to deliver his talk on how to improve your chances of success when applying for something. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chairman. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. So how do I get my slide? Oh, no, okay. Right, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Chairman, for the introduction. Thank you for being here today. I'm really glad to be back here to this faculty. I was first here not too long ago, in 1967, when I was a student studying biochemistry here, as a science student studying biochemistry here. So, yeah, today, I'm going to share with you how to improve your chances. No guarantee that you will get it, but how to improve your chances when applying for something, you know. So what is something? I presume most of us here are in the academia and research institutions, okay? So I'm going to concentrate on that. And being in the academia research institution, based on my own past experience, somehow during our career, we will be applying for like scholarship, fellowships, positions, grants, awards, and so on, okay, which are dear to our heart. And positions like it may be from the junior position, tutor, lecturer, assistant professor, until professor, you know, at different stages of your career. And for the younger one, of course, will be like from bachelor degree, master, PhD, postdoctoral. And you can apply them from local, national, or international. These days, the young people are very fortunate. You have a lot of opportunities, unlike my time 50 or 40 years ago, more limited. And so what I'm going to share with you is a very important part. Most of you think, how am I going to get it? But you forget about competition. I can tell you now, for every grant, there's a very intense competition. You know, for one grant, one success, maybe 50 or 100 people applied. So you must make your grant, to be successful, you must be unique. But most importantly, you must avoid being eliminated early in the selection process. This is what I want to concentrate on. You must survive this stage before you move on, okay? So let's bring it down to the, as the sound of music said, let's start from the very beginning, all right? So please remember this. If you take care of small things, the big things will come. In my experience dealing with, I sit on many grants, all right? Magna is only one of them. And I can tell you, I am very disappointed with lots of applications from so-called educated people with PhD or even senior position. I mean, when you look at after going through one round, really, I threw the application to the dustbin because it was not done properly. You can see the tidak apa attitude of the person, okay? Because they didn't look after the small things. And so, as I must thank Prof. Cheong, who have covered earlier on the, it makes my life a bit easier because she covered our guidelines. Guidelines are very important. Whenever you apply for anything, I'm saying something here, whether you apply for scholarship, fellowships, grant, there are guidelines, okay? And there are application forms. So please study the guidelines and the application form entry carefully. And make sure you complete. It means you fill in or fill out everything. You must date them and sign them. I can tell you I received many applications without signature. So throw it, dustbin. No signature means fill up by the robots, okay? So, so make sure you must remember, the people who sit in selection. I don't have a chance to talk to you. You may be a fantastic person, but the only way I know about you is through your completed and submitted form and documents. So that form is a form of introduction to me before I decide whether you deserve to be considered or not. So first of all, so this is the first and crucial contact with the selection panel. The first perception and impression about you, like it or not, is an impression about you. Whether you are a meticulous person, whether you are a careless person, you know, if you cannot even look after this, you cannot even complete your application form carefully and fully, I'm not going to trust 3,000 or 300,000 ringgit with you. We have our responsibility. We have to make sure that the money is well spent, given to responsible people. So I'm sorry to tell you, this form, we make judgment on you. So we make judgment. We can get an idea, capabilities, your suitability, your personality, and your attitude, especially your attitude. And then we make decisions based on these judgments. So in any applications, don't forget, your application is the direct contact. If you consistently fail in getting applications considered, you better look at your attitude and your way of filling forms. The fault is yours, not on the selection board, okay? So I just run through very quickly. So you make sure you feel, you must be accurate. We can check, we can counter-check many things, okay? We are not fools. We sit up there, we do a lot of work as well. We check a lot of things. You must be honest, don't lie, no error. And spelling, grammar, format. Remember, you are writing in English, okay? Spell check. A lot of them use spell check. Spell check is not good enough. You must use manual check. I'll show you afterwards why spell check is not good enough. Spelling is correct, but the meaning is all wrong. So you need to check it out manually to see whether it's correct or not. Okay, so do not underestimate spelling and punctuation errors in English. You're writing in English. And English spelling, punctuation, verbs, they are very, very important because it tells specific meaning. You're not writing in Mandarin or in Bahasa. Okay, so please remember. Yeah, I'll give you an example. Spelling, punctuation, grammar. Spelling error can be fatal, even in our normal life, not even grant. So somebody, a lecturer, went to Bangkok, have a meeting, very happy, and then wrote a WhatsApp to the wife. Having a great time here, wish you were here. You do a spell check, everything is correct. Okay? Then, for all you know, the person is writing, make a mistake. Instead of here is her. Spell check is correct. But she's going to get murdered when he goes home, right? So be very careful. Spell check. Grammar, punctuation, meaning. Whole meaning can be changed with punctuation. For example, this one. You ask the guy will punctuate like this. If you ask the female will punctuate like, have the punctuation like this. Different meaning altogether. Okay? So please take care of these small things in your application form. Don't rely. We sit on the board, we will not do any correction for you. Okay? We do not interpret for you. We will say, what do you mean? What is your actual meaning? No, I don't have time for that. I need to see your form, what you meant. That's all. If I cannot understand or I misunderstood you, too bad. Okay? Based on your writing. So read, understand, ask, feel. If you're not sure, ask. Fill up properly. Even simple thing. For example, family name, given name, sex. All right? So some forms will put you sex. Sex people say, okay, male, female. So what's so difficult about that? But we get some answer like this. Yes, no, thrice a week. You know? And some people say homosexual, heterosexual, and bisexual. It's correct. Sex. That's how you interpret it. Okay? So miscommunication can occur. So nowadays, most forms would remove the sex and put gender. I'd be safer that way. Okay? So application form depend on the stage of your career. Whether you are junior position, senior position, high position. So the at different position, when you apply for different something, you give different type of information. Okay? Don't just dump in everything. You're applying for example, to be a fellow of the Academy of Sciences. Fellow of the Academy is basically as the peak of your career already. Then you come in. Don't go and fill up your form. My standard 6 primary 6, I got 6A. My SPM, I got 10 A's. We are not interested in all this long history. Whether you get 13 A's or what, doesn't matter anymore. Okay? So we are looking for your recent one, more important one. But if you are applying for a scholarship at a bachelor degree, maybe you put your A level and all sort of things. So you must know where. If you cannot even differentiate that kind of data, you're going to clutter your forms with all kind of information. So give relevant, high impact information. Time. Don't simply pack everything. Do it accordingly. You need to put concise, precise, high impact information. Don't clutter with irrelevant, vague, and generic details. No good. It shows your attitude. Systematically organized. It shows you whether you are a person can handle grants or not from that way. And the other thing is, of course, look at the aesthetic point of view, the font, the style. Whether you're going to use serif, sans serif, you're going to use the size, the color, the form, uppercase, lowercase letter. Don't simply just chip it up. You see the format, some of them inconsistent. It's like writing a thesis, You should be consistent format from the beginning to the end as a document. But I see they are not. Then I know you are cut and paste from different places. You do a sloppy job. Then you leave white space. Don't clutter everything. And these are things you can, these days you Google, you can find advice how to do it. So information about personal information. Next thing is about personal information. Standard thing. Okay, your name, your address, your degree. This one, degrees held. Year conferring university. Which university confer your degree? And then please arrange them in proper chronological order. Don't jump up and down. So simple. And yet, out of 10 forms, I come across 7 forms where they will simply put, or they just say PhD, that's it. I don't even know where they get it, their degree, bachelor degree, or what. No, we are not interested in just, we are interested in your academic career. So, where did you go? This is basically checking the authenticity. These days, there are all kind of fraud things going around. So that's how we check. We need your audits. That's why we ask you. There's a column there, degree, year, and which university. So please do it chronologically. It's easier for the thing. Otherwise, I got to jump here, jump there. Say, there's a gap here. What were you doing for this gap? And then suddenly the gap is filled up here, you know. All these things tells a story because you're trying to tell me a story. You don't want me to guess your story, okay? And then your current position, your current employer, blah, 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 that kind of thing. They're all in the forms. You follow the guidelines given in the form. I'm just giving you. The other thing as scientists, we are all here as scientists. Nowadays, there are so many, I mean, I'm not saying accusing you of fraud, but there are a lot of frauds, okay? And also there are sometimes, especially for Muslim scientists, your names are so similar. Muhammad something, okay? So nothing wrong with you, it's just the name. I know for non-Muslim people, they are very, very confused. So we have to be sure, if you go and Google, there are a whole bunch of them, all having the same name. Which one belongs to you? Very confusing. So that's why now there's a system, they call the ORCID ID, researcher, ORCID, there's ID, research ID, Scopus ID, Google Scholar Citation. All these are now at the fingertips. I sit here, I just put it up as a thing, I can check you straight away. So that's why we ask you, ORCID is not ORCID. So this one is open research and contributes ID. In fact, as a researcher, I will encourage you to register, and then you use this IC wherever you send for publication. Some journal require you to submit this one. And then for your email, for everything, this belongs to you. You should be very proud to tell the world, to tell people, this is you. You know? And then, sorry, what did I do? So the other thing is research. You can register researcher ID as well, okay? If you're not sure, ask a librarian. These days, librarians should be able to help you. They know all these things, okay? They can help you to search and get ready, okay? So all these things, the H-index, publication detail, all this, we can check them from the Google Scholars. We find all these things, okay? So personal, these are all the information, standard. You talk about your academic honors, you arrange them, your awards, your scholarship, professional membership. Of course, at the beginning, you don't have much to write, but as you move up your career, you have more to write. So it doesn't matter. Some may apply to you, some may. You just organize yourself. Okay, your research grant, all this thing. You talk about invited lectures, write only the important one, the keynote, plenary, memorial lecture, which are invited, not the normal one, editorial board, service external, publicity, that sort of thing. Supervision, co-supervision, mentorship, postgraduate. All these, you should be in your CV, workshops, seminars, and so on. Most important, where you must have referees. Make sure you have referees that you can depend. And I don't have time to tell you how to choose referee, but there's. So most important thing now, of course, is go back. If you apply for research grant, research proposal, the guidelines are very important. Okay, study them. As mentioned just now by Prof. Cheong. They tell you, even the criteria have been given to you, doability and so on, so how many percentage. So originality, make sure you have all these things inside. Okay. And when you look at the guidelines, make sure the age, is there age limit? Is it for 40 and below or no age limit? For gender, is it only for female? Don't go and simply apply for L'Oreal. L'Oreal only for female. If you are male, don't go and put in. All right, for research areas, if it's a palm oil, you apply palm oil, it's a cancer. Don't simply put in. Selection criteria, all these you must know. Okay, so this is the process. You prepare, read, complete, check, and then submit. Okay, it's a tedious process. Okay, so my final slide here is look for the announcement. Whenever there's something, is make announcement. And then when the announcement is back, there are two types of category. Some grants you expect every year, like for Magna, every year, April, we announce. You know that every year they will give you. So if you're not ready this year, it's okay. Plan ahead. Sometimes you have to plan 1 to 2 years ahead. So if I were you, if I am not ready, I would go and get the application form first. If I say I want to go apply for Magna grant, okay, I will get the application guidelines, I study them, and I prepare them. Like for example, the second one, 300,000, you need collaboration. I prepare, I may take 2 years to collaborate, find a good lab to collaborate. Then you get all these things solid. Not just I'm going to collaborate not sort of thing. Straight away out, all right? So these are expected. Some are unexpected. Suddenly a new grant came out and announced. So you must be prepared. And the closing date. A lot of time when you receive it, the closing date was already yesterday. Sorry, too late already. Only 1 day left. If you're ready, you can do it. If you're not ready, that's it. I have got many grants. And some grants I got it today, announced tomorrow, closing date, I put it in ready. Because I got all my things ready. I'm going. Okay? So you always have your CV. Always make sure ready. You update them. The relevant, important. Don't clutter them. Takes time to organize. You need to organize your future. So my advice to you, applying a grant is like going to battle. It's not a simple job. You need to arm yourself well, prepare yourself. Just like a scout, be prepared, plan ahead, get a strategy correct, get something like style. You cannot do it last minute without anything from scratch, okay? So if you know, just like here, you want to jump from one fish pond to another fish pond, the new one, you get ready. You can dream big, you can aim high, but you need to plan, okay? So finally, your future is in your hands. Thank you very much, and good luck.
Thank you very much, Prof. Koh. So I hope there's a lot of insights that can be picked up from Prof. Koh's talk. So I think the most important thing is that the proposal is basically your first impression to the selection criteria. So make sure we don't do a sloppy job where we'll give a negative impression. Okay, so the next two sessions, the next two speakers, will be more of experience sharing. So first, we're going to have Prof. Hani from the Pediatric Oncology Lab. So a bit on Prof. Hani. So she is currently the head of the Pediatric Hematology, Oncology and Bone Marrow Transplant Unit at UMMC. Her key areas of research are acute leukemia and stem cell transplantation. She has been the Malaysian lead for the MASPOR, or Malaysia-Singapore Childhood Leukemia Study Group for the past 20 years. Prof. Hani was also the first recipient of the Magna Cancer Research Award, so when it was inaugurated in 2001. So in 2015, she received the Anugerah Akademik Negara for her work on P53 and inherited cancer. So without further ado, I'd like to invite Prof. Hani on stage with her talk entitled Obtaining the Magna Cancer Research Grant, Experience from the UM Pediatric Oncology Lab.
Okay, Assalamualaikum and good morning. Thank you, Prof. Koh. It was really eye-opening to know that you are extremely meticulous and fierce when it comes to looking at proposals. And so since I actually have been able to receive a Magna Grant, it must mean that I have ticked all the boxes that you have stated. So anyway, this is not just about me, it's about also the experience from people in my lab. So we have had two successful applications. The first, myself in 2001, and then 5 years later, a research officer of mine, Kamaria Ibrahim, who is now Dr. Kamaria, working in biomedical science. So let's go back 20 years ago. At that time, I had just finished my membership exams and had completed subspecialty training in pediatric hematology oncology. And my focus was acute lymphoblastic leukemia because that's the commonest childhood cancer. In 1995, my mentor, Professor Lin Hai Peng, had developed a national childhood ALL treatment protocol and called it the MCCG, Malaysian Childhood Cancer Group, which was a consortium of people working in the fraternity in Malaysia. So to try and get the whole country to have treat children with ALL in the same way. This was a modification of a Dutch protocol as well as the traditional German protocol that we have been using previously. So patients were stratified according to risk group, standard, intermediate, and high risk. And you can imagine that the chemotherapy intensity increases according to certain biological features. So this is a survival curve showing how patients fared on this protocol. And you can see a 6-year event-free survival, which is what we often use as a benchmark. And for all groups, the event-free survival was 56%. And if you look at the survival according to risk strata, and you can see that the outcome was not good at all. standard risk 65%, and in the patients with the highest risk group, only 28%. Compare and contrast this to the BFM protocol at that time, BFM 95, and you can see that standard risk patients were reaching 90%. And so it was a far cry from what we were achieving. So clearly something had to be done. So one of the key or landmark events was the development of minimal, or the recognition of minimal residual disease as a new way of seeing whether the patients actually achieve remission or not, meaning whether they responded well to chemotherapy or not, and therefore they should be their classification or their risk stratification should be increased to the point that the chemo is more intense. And you can see that using a molecular method is much better than just using microscopy, which was what was the standard at that time. So this was my proposal, and the detection of minimal residual disease in pediatric ALL using flow cytometry. Why flow cytometry and not PCR based? Because at that time we didn't have a lab, didn't have the capability, and a flow cytometer is something that's available in nearly all hematology labs because it's used for diagnosis. So partnering with a colleague in lab hematology, we try to establish this just to be able, as Prof. Chong has said, this grant is only seed money. We cannot use it in a way to stratify patients and show that the patients who had residual disease did poorly because the amount of money is just too little. So, but it's just serving as a platform to show that yes, we can collect samples at different time points. We can ensure that the lab develops this capability in a trial, on a research way of thinking rather than service, because it's quite different. The mindset has to be different when one does something on a basically service as compared to doing research. So anyway, we abandoned that protocol and then went on and partnered with Singapore to form the Malaysia-Singapore group. And the Malaysia-Singapore group also incorporated minimal residual disease, although they chose PCR-based as their platform. But I'm happy to report that the recently closed MASPOR 2010 protocol has been able to push our survival rate, overall survival, to nearly 90% for event-free and overall 95%. And these are figures from our own hospital, not propped up by figures of the Singaporeans. So just now you can see that the event-free survival for standard risk was 65%. So in the recently closed protocol, we have pushed it up to over 96%. So in 2006, so our lab by that time had developed, because of the collaboration with Singapore, we had a designated pediatric oncology research lab, and again the focus was mainly acute lymphoblastic leukemia, and Kamaria Ibrahim wanted to look at features that would allow us to look more closely at biology of the lymphoblasts. So she looked at telomerase reverse transcriptase and TERF2 to try and see whether our patients could be stratified based on these biomarkers. In 2019, another of my students, Shafiq Azanan, applied to to do a clinical slash molecular based project on the detection of silent L-asparaginase antibodies to prevent relapse in childhood ALL. And L-asparaginase is one of the key components of ALL therapy. Unfortunately, this was not funded. Not sure whether he did not sign the application form or for what reason, but that I have been asked by colleagues and younger colleagues whether to apply for MATNA must you think of a very over the top, very sexy sort of basic science question, and it looks, if you look at previous winners, it looks like that is so, but that is not true. I feel that MATNA recognizes that cancer care has many aspects, including looking at epidemiology, looking at screening, etc. And these are some of the winners of the MATNA grant, looking at access to cancer treatment, screening for using, I think, fecal occult blood to screen for colorectal cancer, as well as financial toxicity by Prof. Nirmala Bupati of Social Preventive Medicine. So clearly, there are various aspects. So the MATNA grant, I think, would not just be something for basic scientists, but also clinicians as well as people working in various fields. So it doesn't matter if you have to be young for the Cancer Research Award. But it doesn't mean that you need to be a basic scientist. Competition is quite stiff. So even if you come from a lab that has previously done or previously won, that doesn't necessarily mean that you will win. And last but not least, good luck. Don't forget to sign your application form. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Prof. Hani, for the very insightful sharing. Last but not least, we're going to have Dr. Ronald with us to share his experience and challenges as early career researcher. So a bit of background on Dr. Ronald. So Dr. Ronald obtained his PhD from USM in 2015. He then worked at Molecular Pathology Unit IMR on an esophageal carcinoma project before joining Sunway University in 2016. He is currently an associate professor specializing in cancer nanotherapeutics research. He is currently the editor for Frontiers in Oncology and a local journal, Asia Pacific Journal of Molecular Biology and Biotechnology. He's also an active reviewer for several tier 1 journals, including Carbohydrate Polymers, Journal of Molecular Lipids, and so on. He won MATNA Cancer Research Award in 2016, so quite recent, and he was the recipient of Vice Chancellor Early Career Research Award from the university in 2018. He was also successfully secured the FRGS grants in both 2019 and the recent 2020 cycle for his cancer biology and therapeutics work. So please welcome on stage Dr. Ronald.
You didn't have the pointer. Okay, very good morning. So my throat is obviously not working today. I'm recovering, but I've tested this morning. It wasn't COVID, so don't worry about that. Yeah. And now that I'm taking off my mask, my name is Ronald. I'm from Sunway University. Recent awards, I'm not so sure because it's actually 6 years ago. It's 2022 now, right? So as our friends have introduced me, I actually joined Sunway University when I was 2016, and that's the years that I actually got the MATNA Award. So you can imagine how young I was in search or in terms of the research experiences, right? So it's definitely something that, you got the PhD, and from here you could see, do I need to wait for a while? I can see it here. And I've really make it full screen. Yep, yeah, so as you can see from the screen here, I actually got my PhD in 2015. So it's about a year, plus minus. And of course, I joined IMR as a postdoc in, I think, somewhere around April 2015. So again, like I said, you can imagine how young in terms of the research experience I was having, all right? And I actually put in straight away about 2 months after I joined Sunway University, but it won't really happen without the push from my mentor, right? Because obviously they have been in the field for quite a couple of years, right? 10, 20, just like Prof. Ko, very experienced, and Prof. Chang as well, and Prof. Hani. Yeah, I was listening to Prof. Hani's talk just now. I was actually on the opposite side, that I feel that Magna is meant for those researchers who are working on tissues, blood samples. But it's kind of surprising that Prof. Hani is actually thinking that the Magna grant is only for basic sciences researchers. So from this, you can actually find out that the conclusion would be both. As long as your proposal is in good quality, and remember to sign your applications form as well. I actually feel a bit stressful from Prof. Ko's talk just now. So obviously I'm on your side. I'm still kind of early to mid career. So I can actually feel that, yeah, now I'm thinking whenever I'm writing for the next Magna grant, I have to make sure I sign forms and make sure those grammatical errors are all corrected. Yeah. So just a little bit of my information on my Magna that I put in 2016. So obviously we didn't sit down and come up with a consensus that guideline is the main thing, right? So if you are listening from different speakers, so it means that it's extremely important, right? So for me as well, for every single games, board games, whatever, you have to know the rules and regulations before you put in any applications, right? Or even you are able to play the game, yeah? So it's the same thing. We always download, and for me, I always print it out so that I can have hands-on, marker or whatever, just to tick whatever that I've done, all right? I'm not sure about you. Nowadays, iPad phones will do, but for me, still, I'm relying on printouts. So some information about my research. I actually propose to collect colorectal cancer patients. These are formerly fixed tissues, about close to 100. Yeah, and of course, when I was collecting those patients' samples, I'm also collecting the clinical pathological data. And of course, once we have the slides, we stain them out with hematoxylin eosin staining, and we also did some autophagy marker staining. And later on, we did association studies to compare the clinical pathological data with the autophagy expression levels from different patient samples. So that's more or less something that I propose for my Magna proposal. And I can't really stress like every time. In this talk, I had two senior mentors who are histopathologists from Sunway University and Western Sydney University, Australia. So they are the one who have been giving me a lot of feedbacks, comments on my proposal, vetting. Yeah. Before, of course, I put in, and so some of other information about the Magna that I put in was, of course, you have to stick the guideline. I think it's still the same, 2 years, right? That's the maximum. You have to complete the project within 2 years. Yeah, and I heard from Prof. Ko that it has increased to Prof. Chong actually increased to 50K. So back then the maximum was 30K, and it's only meant for those who are young in terms of research experience. But now you are also having a bigger grant that can actually cater for those who are interested in applying a bigger scale Magna grant. So yes, you have to add in or include those referees who will be able to support, and whatever that in case some references are given, are needed from your referees, you need to include them. And for the proposal itself, I will also urge you guys to make sure you include a few reputable journals to support whatever you're proposing. Yeah. So yeah, that's a favorite cartoon that I've been sticking to, having it in mind before applying any application. In fact, it's also true for any paper that you're submitting to any journals. So this is to summarize what I think. I might be wrong, all right, but these are quite subjective. But that's something that I've gathered from in the past few years of research experiences. So you have to make sure the qualities of your work whatever that they're proposing, it's something that that needs urgent solutions, and you also have to make sure that it's in line with whatever policies and the strategy plans the nationally. Yeah. And from Prof. Koh's talk just now as well, you have to make sure the project is highly feasible. So there are many terms that will redefine feasibilities. One of them will be, of course, the amount of seeding fund that you're applying. How would you maximize if Magna is giving you 30K, how do you maximize the output in terms of the research and whatever contribution that you can make to nationally or internationally, right? And other things will be the facilities. Again, it's meant for a young researcher, so you have to find ways to convince your examiners that you are strongly supported by your mentors or from your colleagues and stuff like that, right? You have to really make sure that you have figured this out in your proposal, right? Because again, like Prof. Koh said, you have to make sure you survive the first round, right? And yeah, that's what I did. As you can see from previous slide, I had two mentors who are supporting me in the proposal itself. And yes, the last one will be the budget. As I said, you have to maximize the output. Yeah, so just to share with you, when I got my Magna grant in 2016, it was the perfect timing when I was asked to establish a lab at Sunway University. So again, back then it was we didn't really have a lab, at least for me myself, my department to run projects. But at the same time, the university knows that I got the Magna grant, and I'm pretty sure it's related, right? When they start giving us a bigger grant to establish a lab and stuff like that. So these are some of the after effects that you kind of get Magna grant. So it probably will also apply to other grants, but that's what happened to me when I got my Magna grant in 2016. And that's part of the research fund that I talked about just now, a bigger grant internally from the university. And the recognitions, I don't know whether you guys are still having hard time. For me, I do, finding students who are going to run your projects. I'm still facing a problem selecting students, even having them to inquire about the project, regardless whether I've posted on Facebook or any other social medias. It's still quite a difficulty for me, at least. But again, I got my Magna grant. It also helped me a little bit in getting a right student to run the project, and definitely, it was started from nothing. So we have to go to the hospital and talk to the clinicians to convince them to be part of the project. So if you are successfully able to convince them that the project is scientifically sound, so these awards will really help. And of course, that's a seed fund, so it's never going to be enough to sustain, to support your continuous projects or your work in coming years. So, but for me, definitely it has something. It has contributed to the expanded project that I had after 2-3 years, 2016 to 2018, because from there I start having some preliminary data, collecting them, and able to come up with a better proposal, right, to support whatever that I'm proposing. So, yeah, these are my last slides. So again, if you ask me from my past experience, I still feel that it's really important to collaborate with someone that you guys share the same passions and interests. In this case, you'll be trying to combat against cancer. So in my particular field, I'm trying to come up with some nanoparticle-based anti-cancer compounds to see whether it can be more specific against the cancer cells. So it's again something in line with Magna, who has been doing a fantastic job nationally and internationally, having lots of events, including this. Yeah, so that's my last slide. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Honor, for the sharing. As an early career researcher myself, I resonated a lot with all the points that he shared. So we have come to the end of the session, but before that, we'll probably have time for one question from the audience, maybe. So I'll probably be only able to entertain the questions from audience who are attending physically. So anyone, so I'll probably need help with, there's a microphone there. So if you have any question, you can raise your hand and we can bring the mic to you. Anyone? Yes, over there.
Hi, good morning. Thank you so much to the panels for a wonderful sharing session this morning. I just have a question probably to Prof. Chong. I understand that this grant, mainly especially for the research award grant, is for the young scientists or young researchers. And I think the age defined here is 40 and below. But just taking for an example, my case that I didn't have a chance to do my PhD until my I kind of got my PhD towards the end of my 30s. So, I don't really have a chance, many years left actually for me to apply for this grant. So is there a way that this MAGNA actually open up for, to define the young researcher here is like the years that you have completed the PhD? Thank you.
Slide on.
Yes.
That's a good question, and I think that's something that we debate quite a lot when we sit on grant committees. Not only this, because sometimes even international grants, right? Certain countries actually they start their degree a lot earlier than us, and sometimes we lose out because of that. So I think that one has to be taken back. Ashira, can you please take that back to the MAGNA committee or council? Certainly, I think it could be a way of counting post-PhD, but that will be a decision that we can make at the MAGNA council. Thanks for bringing up that point. Yeah.
Thank you very much. So with that, I'm very sorry that we have to end the session because there's the ideas pitch competition happening in the same place right after this. So can everyone please join me in giving a big round of applause to our speakers today. So we'd like to invite all the four speakers, together with Prof. Ong, our Deputy Dean for Value Creation and Enterprise, to the stage for a group photo session. So special thanks again for everyone, especially those who joined us physically in the hall today, especially and as well as those online. So hopefully this has been a very insightful and useful session for you guys. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and salam sejahtera.
Hello, everyone. Assalamualaikum, and a very good morning to our friends and colleagues in the audience, and also for those who are joining us online. I'm Sharifa, your MC for today. So welcome to the 8th session and the last session for the Research Carnival, which is the idea pitching competition by our students. So this competition aims to cultivate and encourage students to think innovatively and also to translate their research into a real-life application. So with us today, we have 3 esteemed judges. So the first judges, a man who needs no introduction at all, our very own Dean of Value Creation and Enterprise, Professor Ong Teck Ik. And we have 2 external judges. So the first external judges is Dr. Rosita Dola from the Faculty of Engineering, UTM. So a bit of introduction of our external judges. So Dr. Rosita is the Managing Director of Neglas Industries in Berhad. So Neglas Industry is a UTM spin-off company for her nanotechnology research commercialization. So she also received a Nika Ninja Accelerator Fund 2021. This is a 9-week global startup accelerator by Nika Japan with McKinsey Company, and she was mentored by the CEO himself of Daytech Incorporation Japan. And Dr. Rosita is also a recipient of L'Oreal UNESCO for Women in Science in 2020, Toku Pradana in 2018, and was also received the 7th Prime Minister, was delivered by the 7th Prime Minister, which is Tuan Dr. Mahathir Mohamad. And our second external examiner is Associate Professor Dr. Wan Fadilah Hadi Muhammad from College of Engineering, University of Technology, Mara Shah Alam. So Dr. Wan Fadilah is actively leading a prototype development research grant, PGRS, from MOHRE, and she is also in charge of the International Collaboration Fund by MOSTI. She's a fellow she was a fellow with the Leaders in Innovation Fellowship, LIF6, the Royal Academy of Engineering UK. So relevant to today's event, she has supervised undergraduates to Innovate Malaysia design competition organized by a multinational company in Malaysia, and have won first prize from the industry, track success really from 2013 up to 2019. So with this extensive track record, we would like to invite Dr. Fadilah to share experience on Innovate Malaysia design competition and advise our young participants in the hall for today. So Dr. Fadilah, the stage is all yours.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum. Hello, good morning. You know, I'm from University Technology Mara, and usually when we have pitching competitions, the hall will be full of undergraduates as well as postgraduates, and I can sort of see from their facial expressions they were wondering, why am I here? And it reminds me of this is the Faculty of Perubatan, right? I remember in UITM several years ago, there was this group of undergrads from the medical faculty that did the aero dance competition. You know, they won some group, so there was a group of undergrads who did the aero dance. And I could hear my engineering students saying, oh, diorang ni kan ni semua budak medik ni pasal, because their wardens would do aero dance competition as well, because they would say, oh, medical faculty students can do it, so why can't you do it? So, you know, but it was just a short trend. But pitching competition is not a short trend. Pitching competitions, it's a good process, because it gets you thinking. Gets you thinking about the audience, because you have to know who you're talking to. If it's not a competition, it would be you may be talking to investors, maybe, or you're pitching a grant. If you're applying for a grant, your innovation idea, you have to understand who the audience is. And then to understand your audience, you need to understand your own project, your own innovation. And then you'd be wondering, do I understand my own innovation? And then you look at your product, and then for some reason, I think it's quite common that it spirals down. After looking at the product, you look at yourself, and then you end up becoming nervous. And then you start thinking, am I good enough for this or what? But the thing about pitching, I think, is you learn to ignore a lot of things that don't matter, because sometimes you only have what's today, 3 minutes. 3 minutes, right? So 3 minutes is if it doesn't matter whether you're young or senior, you're old, or the innovation is good or not, because it's just 3 minutes. And if you ask me to talk about the subject analog electronics that I teach for the past 15 years, in 3 minutes, I too still need to think. So it's a thinking process that's actually very good, and you learn to ignore, you learn to think, and I hope you've already done the thought process. Even if you hadn't, today is just your 3 minutes. Focus on your project, how it affects others. Because I'm not from an engineering background. Dr. Rosita is also not from engineering background. Only the esteemed Prof. Ong is from medical faculty. So we'd like to know what the project is all about. We'd like to see how it affects others, how it solves things. So all the best. I look forward to listen to your pitching. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Prof. Fazlida, for that advice. So students, what to take home is that ignore whatever that's on your head and focus on your 3 minutes and have fun. So before we start the pitching competition, just an overview of what's going on for the next hour. We have 14 participants that's going to pitch their ideas. And each participant will be given 3 minutes with no slides to deliver their idea. And then we're going to proceed with 5 minutes Q&A. So the winner will bring back a trophy and 200 ringgit grab voucher. And second place will bring back a trophy and also 100 ringgit grab voucher. And the third place will bring back a trophy and 100 ringgit grab voucher. So without further ado, I would like to invite the first contestant on the stage. And that is Hazwa Harith from Department of Social and Preventive Medicine. And she will be sharing on mental health app called To Heal.
Is this mic on? Okay. Hello. Very good morning, Dr. Prof. Ong, Dr. Rosita, and Dr. Fazlida, and all of my fellow colleagues. I never expected to be the first one here. So I'll just start off. So just 4 days ago, we've celebrated World Mental Health Day, with the theme being Make Mental Health and Well-Being a global priority for all. So the keyword here is all, in which it needs to be made accessible. And for the past 3 years, we've seen that the global pandemic has swiped across worldwide and has been given much negative repercussions, especially to the mental health effects of the people. So what I have now today that I would like to share is a mental health app called To Heal, which is already available in the Google Play Store, which aims to increase the uptake of the service of the mental health and to increase screening and also to promote awareness as well as interventions to prevent further spiraling down of the mental health issues that we already have now. And I think it will be a better opportunity to extend this forward because mental health needs to be talked about, and the time is now to converge both healthcare and also technology together. And what I can see is that this app has a better potential if it can utilize this expertise, especially from the technological point of view, in terms of the UI and UX experience, which is the user interface, as well as the user experience design. Because based on the first phase of my study, what I found that some improvements can be made to increase the uptake of this app.
So the potential collaborations that I'm looking forward to is that we can engage with the Ministry of Health to increase the revenues, because mental health app worldwide has seen better growth, and it is expected to increase by 24% by the year 2027, which is estimated to be around $3 billion US. So what I can see is that by engaging data or information sharing with the Ministry of Health, we can indeed supply or be in line with what is the ministry is hoping for, which is to utilizes the information for current and future research. So I would just like to end it here by saying that the future is now. We need to tackle this issue immediately. And what about the better way is to converge the healthcare and technology together. Thank you so much. Oh, sorry. Any questions are welcome from the panel.
Oh, okay. Maybe I can go first. Okay. What is the big hurdles facing during making the innovations, to materialize the innovations?
To materialize, I think we have sorry. We do have enough experts here, but I think we need more backup in terms of especially grant and fundings to really propel this app to be maybe more of in line with what the overseas are doing, especially in M Health, if we know that the Americans are using it to work across all kind of diseases beyond mental health in this context. Yep. Thank you for your question.
Okay, thank you for the interesting presentation.
Thank you.
Who has been funding the development of the apps so far, and who are your current collaborators?
My current collaborators is experts from the Public Health Department, as well as psychologists and psychiatrists. And over the earlier stage, we did receive some fundings from the MSRG. Yep. And we are looking forward to extend this and to further improve the utilization of the app. Thank you.
Any business strategy to bring this forward? What's your strategy now?
Strategy to bring this forward is to extend the commercialization of this product by having maybe engaging with collaborations from the pharmaceutical companies, and beyond that. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, okay. Thank you so much as well for that presentation. We're going to give our... Thank you. Well done on the app. So I hope everyone in the audience can start downloading and check that app right now. We're just going to give a 1-minute buffer for our adjudicators to fill up the form. But so the next presenter... Hello. Sorry about that. Okay, brilliant. Thank you so much. Is Noor Hidayah Hassan from Department of Orthopedic Surgery. Just so the audience knows that most of majority of the participants are dominated by Department of Orthopedic Surgery. So kudos to all of you. All right. So judges, are you ready? Okay. So sorry. Sekejap, eh? So if the judges are ready. All right, so Noor Hidayah, all the best.
Thank you so much. Has every one of you here is actually experienced with knee pain? If yes, you're probably having osteoarthritis or OA, which is a condition that causes inflammations and pain in your joint. Study has estimated that almost more than 600 million people around the world having knee OA. In Malaysia, 9.3% of the populations complain with knee pain, and almost half of them presented with clinical symptom of OA. There is no cure of osteoarthritis. With the current treatment that we have, it doesn't completely cure the disease, rather, I'm sorry. Can I take a breath for a while? I'm sorry. Can I repeat it?
Yeah, so it happens to the best of us. So we're gonna, have a quick restart. That's okay.
Thank you so much. Has every one of you here is actually experienced with knee pain? Have everyone of you here is actually experienced with knee pain? If yes, it's probably osteoarthritis or OA, which is a condition that causes inflammations and pain in the joint. Studies have estimated that over 600 million of people worldwide is actually affected with knee OA. In Malaysia, 9.3% of them complain with knee pain, and almost half of them is actually presented with a clinical symptom of knee OA. There is no cure for OA, osteoarthritis. If you damage your knee, basically the repair capacity is very limited because they have lack of blood vessels, they have lack of neurons, nerve supply. So because of that, each of the treatment that currently we have, it doesn't completely cure the disease. And even you have expended more than 50,000 ringgit Malaysia to replace the knees, you won't get recovery back. It's such a huge number, isn't it? As we all aware, we are in the era of biological treatment, which is incredibly ideal. You can use your own blood to repair your own knee. Currently, our team, which consists of the lab technologists, the scientists, and the clinicians, are currently provide a service of with a slogan of "Use your blood, repair your knee." We injecting autologous platelet-derived extracellular vesicles, or PEV, to our OA patients, and the feedback is promising. PEV is superior of platelet-rich plasma. It is a nano-sized product which able to transfer remedial bioactive molecules into the cells effectively and halt the disease progressions. Currently, we are working closely with our industry partner, MyCytoHealth, that help us to sell and market the product. However, autologous PEV is only limited to patients with those having blood diseases and in elderly which are unable to donate large quantities of blood. Therefore, as like the iPhones that have many versions, we propose an improvement to our. I'm sorry. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Nur Hidayah, for sharing the use of platelet-derived extracellular as an option for OA patients.
Okay. The technique, you already published data on this thing, this technique?
Basically, we're actually proposing the allogenic concepts, the allogenic PEV. We are currently having the autologous PEV, so we are proposing the allogenic one to overcome the issues of autologous PEV. So we do not have published data for the allogenic one, but we do have preliminary studies which shows promising findings already.
Okay, okay.
Okay. As expected, us from the engineering background, this is all novel to us. So my question is, are you protected by intellectual property rights to operate this formulation that you have done in the commercialized way?
All right. Basically, our current product, which is the autologous PEV, has been patented and in the process of registering to the National Pharmaceutical Regulatory Agency. So because of the limitations of autologous PEV, we are proposing the allogenic one. And after we completing all the testing, we will undergo the same process as our autologous PEV to protect the intellectual of this product. Okay.
All right, Hidayah, very good. Intention of knowledge sharing and dissemination to the community, because the most important thing is your idea to the community. So, good job, actually. Yeah. All right. Okay, so I would like to ask about a little bit on your promising ideas you mentioned just now. So remember about getting data from the society. So I guess you have it already, right? Because you mentioned just now the feedback from the society.
Okay,
Yeah.
you mean the feedback from the patients?
Yes,
of our
what we
autologous-
can summarize into a testimonials. So do you have any testimonials?
Okay.
Yeah.
Currently, we have provided the service of autologous PEV to the patients, and the feedback are promising. So basically, after one injections, the patient is actually having less pain as compared to before injections, and they actually saying that this technology is very good and excellent. Those
Alright.
are the patient feedback that we receive at this
How
point.
many?
I do not have the complete data of that.
More or less, like approximately how many patients you have collected the data from, the sample size of the data. Rough idea, how much, how many, yeah. 20, 10, it's okay, because we want to gauge ourselves where we are and then what is the improvement that you can do after this. That's the advice we can give you.
All right. Basically, I would say that in terms of percentage, more than 70% of the patients actually experience giving a good feedback after the injections of the autologous PEV.
70% of particular
The patients,
ward in the ward?
particular patients that we inject our
Okay.
product into.
Okay. Okay. One more last question, if I, okay. So, who are with you? Your team?
Oh, basically, because we are currently provide the service to the patients for autologous PEV product.
Okay.
So we have the technologists among us. We have the even the scientists. The technologists and the scientists is actually the one who actually prepare the PEV, and we have the clinicians who actually oversee the injection process and the patient itself, and we have the industry partner which help hand to hand giving a training to all the clinicians in order for us to like broaden this product outside of
Very good.
UMMC.
Yeah. Very good job, yeah? Okay. Thank you.
Well done, Hidayah, for your innovation. So let's proceed with the next participant, which is Muhammad Zahiruddin Khairi from Department of Social Preventive Medicine. And he will be sharing with us on psychoeducation video to tackle mental health issue. Oh, Khairi. Is Zahiruddin Khairi, sorry, that's your surname.
Assalamualaikum and very good morning. Okay, many students around the world suffer from depression, which has been exacerbated by the COVID-19 pandemic. However, the barriers amongst to seek help includes poor attitudes, shame, as well as stigma. However, depression literacy has been promoted because study shows that it enhances knowledge, increase help-seeking behavior, as well as mitigate stigma. Early intervention is required because depression leads to the symptom lasted for years, as well as leads to poor academic performances, as well as development of diseases which reduce life expectancy. With the advancement of internet and mobile technologies, video-based strategies would provide a strong technologies, as it allows disseminating of information to a large number of people. In contrast to reading or listening activities, video-based provides strong visual cues, as it will help in students' understanding as well. If we, in addition to the text overlays on the video, it will further enhances learning and experiences. So this in turn will help students would understand better about the learning processes. In addition, video-based strategies also save times and money because it involves only one time to produce the video, but it can use at a long period of time. And at the same time, the video-based strategies can allow students to engage with the context of the video at their own pace, even when the counselors are not around. So as a result, this video, psychoeducational video on depression has the potential to be commercialized for the benefits of our students. Thank you. Okay, my target audience of this product is the undergraduate students of University of Malaya.
And then if the target audience University of Malaya, how are you going to sell it? How big the market is?
Actually, this is more like a pilot study. We're going to study with University of Malaya first, and then from there, if the study shows there's some improvement, we shall commercialize it to the rest of the universities as well, private and the public institutions.
Okay. How are you going to protect these videos from just being copied and distributed in this digital world? Yeah.
Sorry, can I repeat?
How are you going to protect these videos from being copied? And if somebody were to copy this video and just share it in the digital platform, would that take away your business strategy?
Okay, thank you very much for the question. So to overcome this issue, we will work together with EDTech. So the ownership of the video will be part of EDTech as well as our department. So EDTech will have the total control of the rights, so that it cannot be copied to other platforms where other institutions and the rest.
Okay. KISS, keep it simple
Sure.
and sweet and simple kan. Okay, you punya product ni kan, I just have in my mind depression device, is it?
Actually, it's a video
Service.
Actually, we want to promote literacy on depression.
Okay, so it's a service.
It's
a service or a product?
It's a product by using video to promote. Means we want to increase the literacy rate, because as we can see that in comparison to reading articles, the retention rate is poorer compared to video-based, as research has shown that even though it can last for at least up to 3 years, the knowledge retention among the students.
Okay. So where are you right now, the stage of the invention?
Okay, actually we have four phases. So the phase 1 will be translation of this questionnaire. So that phase is already almost completed. Right now we are going into phase 2, where to develop the video, in which the development of the video will involve panel of experts from our university as well as from the Ministry of Health. Yes.
Okay. Then the fourth stage is?
The third stage will be pilot study. Then the fourth stage will be the RCT study.
RCT. What is
Yeah.
RCT?
Randomized control trial.
To the market.
So it means we will check the efficiency. Then from there, if it shows that video-based has a better learning rate rather than traditional like lectures, then we will commercialize it to our students. And then from there, because what we say is more like a pilot study, and then if it shows effectiveness among our university students, it will be commercialized to the general undergraduates throughout our nation, and as well as worldwide as well.
Okay, so I can see this is kind of service, right? Service or apps. At the end of because I'm thinking at the end of mine, what is going to be at the end of the process? You can want to materialize the idea into commercialization, right?
Yes.
So at the end of the day, what are you going to produce to the society?
I mean,
so that is the most important thing.
All right. Okay. Thank you for the question. So our product is video. That is our product.
Okay.
So the end society will be university students. So we hope by using this video, it will improve the literacy rate of depression among our students.
Okay.
So that is the flow that we can see that it is going.
Okay. Then you can expand to the patients in hospital.
Yes,
after that,
of course.
Okay.
Yes, as I mentioned earlier on, because this, as what we said, that the research is still very new to the country. The mental literacy is still new. That's why we're going to study. That's why my research is based on our undergrad student first. That is a platform for next future phases to be conducted.
Okay. You can do patent search as well, eh?
Yeah, correct.
The novelty of the patents, So where
Yeah.
are you right now? How you compare yourself with other countries?
Yeah,
So that would be very good findings.
Sure, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, welcome.
Thank you so much. And to call our next participant, which is participant number 1 on the sheet, we have Ahmad Fuad bin Ahmad Kamal from the Department of Orthopedic Surgery.
Test 1, 2, 3. Can I take off my mask? Can I speak without my mask? All right, thank you. Assalamualaikum, very good morning, Abid, to you. My name is Ahmad. I'm from Department of Surgery Orthopedic. When you get cut or you get into accident, or maybe you get yourself injured, and there is a wound. So wound may give rise to significant morbidity or mortality. Even if this wound may seem small to you, but if it didn't manage properly or if you didn't manage properly, it may ruin your day. And devising a therapeutic approach to treat an acute wound or deep wound remains a major clinical challenge. This is because of many reasons. And one of that is because there's lack of therapeutic approach or therapeutic effective treatments that combine with the combinations of conventional management, which is surgical debridement and skin grafting, with the modern management, which is skin substitute, which is actually is a combination of growth factors, scaffold, and PRP are needed to treat this wound effectively. So here I am to pitch about our product, which is named MAP. M stands for mesenchymal stem cells, A amniotic membrane, and P PRP. So up to this date, the potential applications of mesenchymal stem cells, PRP as well as amniotic membrane to treat wound has been actively investigated. Why? First, because stem cells is seen to have a very promising approach to treat a wound. This is because the ideal role is to close the wound in shorter time and to decrease scar formation as well to regenerate a new skin. And the stem cell also is known to have the ability to to differentiate to many cell types. Second is PRP. PRP is actually a concentrated platelet that contains a lot of growth factors. such as platelet derived growth factors, vascular growth factors, basic fibrillar growth factors, and many more. And these growth factors are very helpful to improve healing process. And third is amniotic membrane. Amniotic membrane is basically just serve as a scaffold or cell carrier. So this cell carrier deliver all these growth factors and stem cells to the wound site effectively. And our product combine all these three components to be applied as a wound patch into the wound to treat the wound effectively. Don't get me wrong, indeed, amniotic membrane alone has proven to treat the wound. Same goes to stem cells and PRP alone. But our product, we deliver all these benefits to you because we actually care about your well-being, and we want you want you to get your quality of life back. And before I done,
Thank you so much for that pitch. So let's continue with the Q&A session from our judges.
right.
All right. Okay. Thank you for the presentation.
You're welcome.
What's the closest competition your competitors are? One from the angle of patent search, and second in the commercialized alternatives that is in the market.
Closest competitors. I would say there's a lot of biofilm in the markets. For example, IP films, amniox. I think amniox is actually using amnion as a wound patch. But the difference between those things that have been those superior products that have been in the market with this is actually we utilize stem cells and also PRP. So we combine all these two biological components that have its own benefits, and then we combine all this to treat the wound effectively.
Do you have any proof or evidence that your product is better or at least same compared to the competitors in the market?
Currently, we are doing preclinical studies. We have done in vitro and also in vivo. We applied to animals, and it seems there is a significant difference compared to by using conventional wound management by using cotton wool and gauze absorbent. So I think yes, there is a significant difference.
Is there any human study already?
Not we are planning. We are planning. Maybe in my PhD study, planning to do it.
Okay.
Okay, cool invention.
Thank you.
Just wondering the feasibility of the unit. How long it takes to produce one unit? I was just imagining how are we going to do the mass scale after this?
Actually, it's quite achievable because I solely myself and my team
great.
We obtain amnion membrane from the patients. Then we process it because there's certain criteria that we need to obey, and then we obtain the PRP from the patient also. But it's not done. It's not done yet because it is preclinical study. So we obtain the PRP from the rats, and also some cells also from the rats. But if we want to do clinical trial, we may obtain the stem cell from peripheral blood of the patients. So it's autologous, so we don't have to worry about the host rejection kind of thing because it's very, very safe. So everything is from patient's cell.
By itself?
Yes.
Okay. Have you any idea on the partnership side? Are you going to do this by yourself, by your own team, or are you going to do it by any collaborators?
We have some potential collaborators.
Wow, okay. You keep looking at the back, so it attracts me. You have a strong team. Oh, okay.
They were my friends and team.
Oh, okay.
We are very supporters.
Supporter. Oh, okay,
we
okay.
are working together.
Good, good. So your team, you keep on mentioning your team is what? I mean the support you for the research or the business team? Remember? So if business team, we have the one person doing this, one person doing that. So do you have that in mind yet, or not yet, or going to do
Yeah,
it?
absolutely. We have that in mind. And not only business, but they also support in my moral.
Okay. Good, good, good.
Thank you. Because we are researchers, right? We kind of stress in the lab, and then not everything going in our way. So we need, a good supportive system.
Yes,
And they all
agree. Cool. Thank you, thank you.
Yeah, I think that's all for me. Thank you.
Well done, Fuad, on your innovation. So yes, we do have a big team at the back from orthopedic, and even the bosses came down. Wow, so that's why everyone's looking at the back. Good teamwork, exactly. So without further ado, let's call the second participant on the sheet. Okay, so we're doing this by random. So there's a bit of suspense for all of the students. So we have Amira Mafuza Zulkifli, also from the Department of Orthopedic Surgery. Okay, Amira, you have 3 minutes for your pitch. Good luck.
Hi, good day everyone. I am Amira. Can you imagine you are watching a basketball match and suddenly your favorite basketball players, after he scores the goal, he just suddenly fell down on the ground. He cannot move and he is in severely pain. He just shouted that he could hear a pop sound in his ankles. So actually he is possibly suffering from a ruptured tendon, which is accountable for 30 to 50% of all musculoskeletal injuries and affecting more than 30 million people per year globally. It is a serious nightmare for all athletes actually, because when there are surgical repair being done, it will take a long period of time for the rehabilitation, which it takes up to 12 months for recovery. It is impossible for the athletes to go back to the sport, and for some of them, they even have to retire in early age. So available treatment includes the surgical and non-surgical interventions, but due to the limited regenerative capacity of the tendons, as their nature, they have a very limited cells, very limited vasculature, so that the repaired tendons not being formed as what they are, like the normal tendon. So to overcome this problem, stem cell therapy has been introduced. The case is that with direct stem cell injection in the injured tendon, it can lead to the ectopic bone formations. Other than that, while we are trying so hard to help the patient, the cost for the stem cell therapy itself is very high, and not all patients can afford for this treatment. So here, we propose a solution that we call suffocation for the good, whereby in our body, the physiological repair of the physiologic repair is in hypoxic condition, where a lot of growth factors has been secreted that drive the stem cells to promote an efficient tendon healing. So based on this concept, we postulated that maybe if we can create a sufficient hypoxic condition in the injured tendon, we can boost up the repair mechanism. So comparing to the stem cell injection, which is costly and risky. So here we propose the use of a cheaper and less invasive procedures to treat the tendon by using roxadustat, which is a hypoxia mimicking agent that has been approved and clinically used to treat anemia. It is safe. So we have our team currently, they are still working on to develop the tendon injury model and to evaluate the safety and efficacy of the drugs in tendon healing. Based on our studies, there are no suggestion at all to use this roxadustat for tendon healing. Thank you. For me, it's still under investigation because we have come with the model. It's just that we need to look for a safe dosage to be used for the treatment, because the drug the drug itself, which is the rosuvastatin, already in the clinical setting to be used to treat anemia. It's just that we need to look for a safe concentration to be used for tendon repair.
What's the cost of the drug?
The cost for the drug, because if we can develop the treatment for the tendon, maybe it can go just up to few hundred, instead of if you want to do tendon surgery, it may leads you up to 1,000, and for tendon therapy, stem cell therapy, it leads you more to 10,000, more than 10,000. So maybe just few hundreds.
Okay. What's the plan to get you were mentioning about the research to get the right dosage. So how much do you need for that, and what's the plan towards commercialization on the products?
Actually, we managed to got a certain concentration that is safe in our lab to be used to treat the cells. It's just that I think we need to further test in the clinical setting first to make sure it is healthy enough for the people, for the patients. It will not cause any adverse effect and all. I think it will take some time, but we are going for that actually.
How long is long?
Maybe in 2-3 years like that.
Oh,
Because actually, this one kind of a new treatment we propose. Nobody trying to use this agent yet to treat tendon instead of like other diseases. So I think we still need time to make sure it is safe enough for the patient.
Okay. It's not about bad things about 2 to 3 years. No, but it's actually what we worry right now is somebody will do it first before you get it at that point.
Yeah, then I would rush for that then.
So rugi lah. So we have to think of the strategy because whatever it is, regardless of mechanical engineering, medical, civil, or any field, timing is the first and foremost factors that leads you to the success innovation. So the timing, since you are saying 2 to 3 years, is fine. But now to think what is next, what can we do to expedite the process? So it's not necessarily for you to do everything by your own, but you can do some kind of partnership, to get the process faster. Like for our case, just sharing the experience. I'm doing something, the nano additive. But for me to put the nano additive into any applications, regardless medical or any industries, that's not my forte to do it because I don't have the factory, I don't have the ingredients in a large scale to do it. So what we did, we partnership with the company and then we add our nano additive to them, but some agreements have to be in place. So that is one of the strategy. Okay, you have the fluid just now, you mentioned about the drug that has never been used by anyone, right? So get it done first, and then the other parts for you to assemble, to assemble the product into one unit or any terms that you want to call it later. Get some partnership, get some company. I'm sure there is some companies out there that's already been in that particular industry, but the novel product that you're producing, you just park in their current innovation, so you can expedite the process.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, okay, so it's a teamwork.
Okay,
Yeah.
sure. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Amira. That is a very valuable advice, and I hope everyone take that home with you. So in order to be successful as an entrepreneur, not just you and your scientific and medical evidence, but also to incorporate other people from other field to speed up the process. So next, this is a special case. So an undergraduate participant, a fourth year MBBS student, Chiang Liao Yun. So he will share on his innovation called My Doctor.
Hello, my test. All right. So, dear honorable judges, so today's solution will be My Doctor. So before we start, what is My Doctor? Let's take a step back and look at the journey through Singet. So this is a 25-year-old female. She has 2 beloved grandparents, but she lost her grandfather due to cancer, due to lack of preventive care. And then she lost her grandmother due to late treatment, due to overcrowded hospitals. So what are the problems that we're seeing in healthcare today? So if you've been to government hospital, you know that the queue to enter a government hospital is very long. Secondly, your consultation with the doctor is only 5 minutes or lesser most of the time. Thirdly, your appointment from first appointment to the next appointment takes up to 6 months. And if you have an elderly at home, most often than not, they're not able to get the treatment that they deserve. And secondly, medicine these days are still very focused on reactive medicine, which means that if you have this disease, they only will treat you for this. There are still lack of preventive care, not only in Malaysia, but in all around the world. So, what is the solution that we wish to provide? The first solution is that what if we're going to take doctor, a pharmacy, and comfort, and put it all together? So instead of a patient going to a doctor, the doctor will come to the patient. So if a patient needs care at home, the doctor will come to care the patient at home. What is our second phase solution? So our solution can be broken into 2 phases. First phase is the telemedicine phase. Second phase is the AI phase. So for the second phase, this AI will be something like Jarvis in Iron Man, or like a Baymax. So what this does is that it will take all your health parameters, ECG, all those things, and then it will talk to you like a friend. In addition to that, it will listen to you like a mother. So it takes all of these parameters and goes through its deep machine learning and provide you the predictive analytics. So if a patient is deemed high risk, what AI will do is that they will send our patient to further follow up with our online doctor. And all in all, we can provide the preventive care that they need. Hence, who are my team comprised of? We have medicine, pharmacy, computer science, and master in business management. And we are also the only team we are currently the team in accelerator program of FWD Takaful. And also we are the only team that went to the qualified for the grand finals of China Asian Smart City Innovation Program. And hence, what are we asking for? So we are seeking collaborations with not only UM, but also any other universities like UiTM to get doctors and patients, because we are providing a service. And last but not least, let my doctor be your 24/7, 365 health companion. We provide the healthcare by the people, for the people. Thank you.
So you already have the product already?
We actually done the MVP already. So we are on the midst of commercializing our product. We are planning to sign a contract with an developer to produce our product. But our MVP is already done. We have already the UX, the user interface done. Yeah.
Yeah. Any kind of legal requirement, any legal limitation for us to use the app for patient consultation?
Thank you, Prof. Wong, for your question. That's a very good question. To answer your question, in Malaysia, there's currently no hard rules for this because telemedicine is still quite new, and I would say the trend is just starting. So we can ride on the trend together. The market share is very big. It's up to 54 billion ringgit Malaysia, and there are only, I wouldn't say they're dominant players, but we say there are a few players, but they're not dominant yet. So we can get an equal amount of market share, especially working with together. So to answer your question, what was your question was? The legal issue. No, there's no hard legal issue. Basically, the care that has to be provided is that it has to up to the standard. So if a patient is deemed to have physical consultation, physical examination, then the patient can either go to the doctor's clinic, or if the patient is bedridden, then we can get the doctor with a nurse to the patient's house. So there's no telemedicine act yet, but we go back to the old medicine law in Malaysia.
But there's some basic law governing telemedicine, right?
There's no hard rule yet. We are still framing the legal around it. Basically, it's like if something that needs physical examination, it has to be physical examination. But if something that can be done through history taking, or through history can finish it, then they can do it.
You have lawyer in your team?
I have a few. I have few partners that are lawyers, but they are not in my original teams. But I'm getting people from finance, lawyers, laws, also, and more computer science. Yeah, thank you for the question.
In your business plan, the flow of money coming in, when and how is that going to happen?
Okay, so for our plan is that we are going to have another final pitching with the FW Takaful next week, Thursday. And currently, if we are still waiting for that, but while waiting for that, we can actually bootstrap, which means that we can use our own personal savings up to 40K, but it wouldn't last us very long. It only lasts us 2 to 3 months runway. But if we get a partnership with maybe UM or FW Takaful, then it will provide us a more sustainable cash flow for up to 1 year. Then once we get the FW Takaful partnership, because they are an insurance company, they are a very big insurance company, but they are based from Hong Kong. So if you get that, we can also sign up for Cradle funds, or maybe 1337 Ventures startup. Yeah, thank you.
So you haven't got your own startup yet?
Sorry?
You haven't got your own startup yet?
Haven't, but we are missed in curating it. We
Okay.
are missed of bringing the product already to the market.
Yeah, and I mean, it's good to have your own brand of company. It's very easy. Just register in the SSM.
Oh, actually, I have the SSF account.
Yeah, I mean account, but your own company.
We haven't registered yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
You better get it done.
Okay.
Okay, because as mentioned by Prof Wong and also Dr. Wan, it's very important for you to protect your brand. And like us as a researcher also, it's good if we can have a spin-off or startup by ourselves, because otherwise we have to rely on other parties.
Right.
Which is there will be some legal terms, how many percent royalty and whatnot that we have to, release to the other side of parties, that actually we can prevent it by having our own spin-off or startup. Okay. So that is one thing. Very easy. You go today also, you can register, but provided you have the money lah, 3,000 is enough for the SSM Sunan Berhad, kan? Okay. And competitors. Because we have seen quite a lot of numbers with this kind of service right now. Everybody is doing this kind of interface, especially for medical services, the e-clinic and so many brands out there that we encounter. So maybe you can give or summarize what is one of your uniqueness.
Okay, so thank you for your question. So your question was, there are many competitors in this field, and what is our USP? So I would say the telemedicine, there are competitors, but our USP is in the science of who we get our partners from. If we get an insurance company as a partner, or we get a university as a partner, that's a very big add-on already. So our USP is that if you can get to collaborate with insurance company or that's already a big add-on, because we have the doctors and the patients ready already. Because when it comes to service app, what it matters is who are your provider and who are your receivers. So if you get a call, who will be using our, yeah, exactly. And if you get insurance company, our user base will be better. Okay, so our USP is that how are we going to charge them? Our affordability. All right. And also to answer your question, our phase 1 telemedicine, there are 3 competitors, but in the phase 2, where it's an AI algorithm, there are no direct competitors yet. There's only one, I would say indirect, is Naluri, but they're doing in a very different aspect. They're more on the mental health being and the wellness. But if we able, because the phase 1, right, is actually more of like to funnel the customers from phase 1 to enter into the phase 2 to get the customer loyalty. So the phase 2 is where we use AI algorithm. These are copyrighted, these are patent protected. Yeah, correct. Thank you.
Well done. That was impressive. Telemedicine, an untappable market in Malaysia. If I have a couple of 100,000s, here you go. Kick that off. So just so you know that any innovation, we do have UMCIC approach them and pitch to them. So these are the unit in Universiti Malaya that would push your invention further, that could advise you on it. Okay, students? So, yes. Prof. Ivy Wong. Yeah, Ivy Chong, yes. So, all right, the next participant will be Goh Tuan Zing from Department of Orthopedic Surgery, and she will be pitching on a OA biomarker.
All right, so good morning, everyone. So have any one of you have elderly family members that have knee pain? And do they need, do they have any constraint on their day-to-day activities? And then they're also suffering from medication and surgery. So osteoarthritis or OA is a musculoskeletal disease that causes joint pain, stiffness, and disability. Globally, OA ranked 17 in the Global Burden Disease Study in 2019, with approximately 250 million people affected by knee OA. In Malaysia, the Ministry of Health has estimated the prevalence of knee OA to be between 10 to 20% in the elderly population. And this is there's another alarming fact, which is because obesity is the risk factor of osteoarthritis. And in 2020, there's approximately 54% of the Malaysian adults actually have overweight or obese. So as late-stage OA is irreversible, and currently to prevent the development of OA is muchly affected by the fact that more and more people are getting obesity. So the best option is to have an early diagnosis of OA, which can allow treatment to be taken to slow the progression and minimize pain and disability. So, however, currently clinically, the X-ray are unable to capture the minor changes in the knee joint, and then there is no blood test available for osteoarthritis. So, our study have identified the candidate RNA biomarkers to stratify the OA patients from the non-OA subjects. So by assessing the expression levels of these RNA markers in the blood, we are able to determine if a patient is at risk of developing OA or the patient is in the early stage of the OA where they can receive better planned treatment. So to commercialize this idea, we will need to collaborate with hospitals and pharmaceuticals centers because to commercialize this kit, we will need to register this kit as an in vitro diagnostic medical device, and we will need clinical trials with standardized testings as well as informed consent from the patient for a long-term follow-up, so that to able to fully achieve or publish this kit to the public. So our ultimate aim is to introduce this kit to the routine medical blood test checkups so that anyone above age of 40 can check for the OA markers in the blood so that they can receive a better treatment before they progress into a late stage OA. So yeah, thank you.
For the test, what are you actually testing about? What compound or chemical are we testing about?
So we actually testing the expression levels of the specific RNA that we have identified in the patient blood. So we can able to, if we can, so we will get the expression level of this RNA by comparing from the OA to the non-OA patients. And then so after that, every patient, we just need to test this presence of these markers in the blood to see if they are at risk of developing OA.
Has this test been, kind of validated in other tests? I mean, in other kind of published data or things like that? The evidence for that?
Yeah, actually, there is study that have looked into this small RNA. So, but in our study, we actually identify a combination of different types of RNAs to have a better diagnostic accuracy for osteoarthritis. So that makes the difference between what we have with the current studies.
I believe the marker, this an RNA marker cannot tell which joint is having the OA, or can it tell, which part of the body is having OA, or probably it's an overall picture?
Yeah, so because we're getting the samples from OA and non-OA patients, and then so we know that these markers is especially higher or lower in the OA patients. So this is like an indicator for osteoarthritis. So, but this marker can also be an indicator of other disease, but because our samples actually from OA patient, so then this is the indicator for that. Yeah.
What's the cost of the test?
If it can be just included in a simple blood test, then it will be cost less than hundreds.
Is the test available now in the market?
Not yet, because if you want to make it as a marker for OA, it's actually it's like a population-based study. So we need to recruit more patients to increase our sample size to show that our result can resemble the population.
Okay, I think Prof. Ong asked all my questions already. No, it's all right. No, it's just joking. What would make a patient to not have OA yet to want to pay to have this test?
Okay, so because actually everyone will process from the early stage to the late stage because of either trauma or injury or because of the physiology conditions that affect the progression. So it's like if we are able to detect in the early stage, then we can do some preventive treatment like physiotherapy or any control of the lifestyle. So it's like there is, because like without this control, a lot of people actually progress until late stage before they get noticed. So yeah, this is why some people will actually only diagnose in the late stage.
Okay, good innovation, but wondering how we can convince the market or secure the market, or in other words, who is your early adopters? Meaning to say, like mentioned by Dr. Wan, I don't have OA injury because I never used the markers. I didn't know what stage I am right now. So why must I buy a product? So we do not want this kind of questions in the market. You know what I mean? So we want it to be like, okay, your product, by hook or by crook, they must buy. So who is the early adopters? Must buy, not an option.
All right. Actually, our aim is to let people that. Okay, so we don't want the patients that already have the OA symptoms to.
It's
get
too late
this
already.
Yeah. So it's like we are targeting the elderly population, like above 40s, and because like
Above 40, we are above 40.
yeah,
Elderly.
because actually most of the elderly population will get this osteoarthritis because it's like a normal degenerative disease. But some people will have progressed into late stage because like their lifestyle or like their working conditions that will worsen the condition or faster.
You have to dig more. Okay, for example, we are above 40, so you bring your kid here. I still don't have the feeling right that I must buy that product this morning. So that is my meaning. So what I expect from you is, who is the category of person that actually compulsory to buy that product? Yes, above 40 is one parameter, but we have to find more. Yeah? Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Tuan Zain. So we have a potential biomarker for OA. So why don't we call, how about prevention? So the next speaker is Lai Hua Yu. So it's going to talk about the prevention of OA.
Good morning, everyone. How many of you here actually have knee pain? Well, actually, you might not know what's the problem here or what you can do before you eventually need surgery. Yes, surgery. So actually, osteoarthritis or OA is a joint disease that is commonly found in the knees. And the symptoms can be, that's obvious, is like pain or difficulty in movement. And this can lead to a decrease in the quality of life. This actually occurs for people that are above 40, but it can also happen in the young people, especially those who had injuries before, and it's common for females. So eventually when it goes to advanced OA, you will need surgery, which costs more than 20,000 ringgit, and it can be a huge economic burden to the patients and the family. And currently what we do to diagnose OA, we use X-ray. X-ray is like an imaging where you can see the changes in the knee. So for now, they are used to diagnose advanced OA. However, these very subtle changes is not enough and is not used to diagnose early OA. So what we're proposing here is we have identified biomarkers, which is an microRNA that is able to be used as an early OA biomarker. And with this, we can identify those with the early OA by looking at their blood or synovial fluid. So, with this, we will be able to develop them into to become an early OA detection kit that we can actually register as an in vitro diagnostic medical device. And why is it important to detect OA at the early stage? This is because if we have detected early, we can actually have some interventions such as change in lifestyle, maybe weight loss or change in their diet. And we can even develop more of like a treatment, early treatment that can actually allow them to maybe not progress into late stage OA, and they will not need a surgery, which is a huge save of cost for the family and also for the country. And to achieve this, we can actually collab with people like the Ministry of Health so that we can mandate this test for people above 40 so that we can find out who actually have OA at the early stage. And we can also work with the Arthritis Foundation Malaysia so that we can raise awareness for the public so that they know why and how it is important that we detect OA at an early stage. We can also work with the industry partners to actually develop this kit itself and register them with the MDA, the Medical Device Authorities, and eventually we can market them to the hospitals, the clinics, or the labs such as like Path Lab and BP Lab, so that we can have have it available to the general public and they can test themselves. And with this kit, we can change life. Thank you.
Okay, what is the cost?
The cost for the kit?
Yes, to produce 1 unit.
If we can manufacture it in large, it wouldn't be a very expensive test because we will be only using like blood or like seminal fluid. And if we can actually have more people to use it, the manufacturing it largely, we can have it like any other test kits available on the market.
The range? Price
The range, it would of course it wouldn't be like a PCR test, which is like 200, 300 ringgit. It would be more expensive. That would be too expensive for the public. But we can target it to be, of course, less than 100. Yeah.
Okay.
We can try to reduce the cost and publish it, and manufacture it in mass so that we can actually, reduce the price. And it will benefit the people as well because they wouldn't want anything that is like too high price and like and might not benefit them. Yeah.
In your strategy to get this off, who do you think are important team members in your prototype development?
So for the team members, of course, we have the scientists, us, the team who actually did the study and experiment and develop this thing, the whole idea behind it. And then we will have the industrial companies such as companies who make test kits like the Myrick, Sdn Bhd. And then we can also have partners which will, like certain partner labs, let's say, which will provide this kit maybe at a cheaper price for the people so that they can actually test themselves. And of course, we will also have to work with the Arthritis Foundation and also work with the Ministry of Health because without them, it will actually not be known to more people and actually have it mandate so that everyone can test themselves. Right?
What's the difference between your product, your test, and the previous speaker, Go Tuan Zin? What's the difference?
Yeah, actually, we are on the same team.
Or same.
Sorry, we're actually on the same team. It's just that to be more specific, she's actually looking more on piRNA and I'm looking more on microRNA. So it's actually different forms of small RNA, but they both have like distinct signatures where like a different sets of these microRNAs can tell us whether you're in an early stage or a late stage. And this has also been used for other diseases as well. For it has been tested in rheumatoid arthritis and also in other diseases and especially in cancer. But of course, we are looking at a set of our new markers that can prove that you're either in early stage or you're progressing to late stage.
So the test you're carrying out are different from Go Tuan Zin's one, lah.
Yeah, essentially what we are looking at is different, but we're both looking at blood and also maybe synovial fluid.
Which one more promising between the two of you? Up to now, lah, based on evidence, kan? Up to evidence now.
I would say that if you want to be more specific, piRNA is actually quite new currently, but microRNA has actually been tested for other diseases, so I'm actually quite confident in this.
So you're more established, lah.
Yeah, for other diseases, yes.
Okay. Thanks.
So is that all? Yeah, all right. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. And Prof. Ong, you just set up something right there. It's a rivalry between the two, which is a healthy competition. So let's call upon our next speaker, which is Mohammad Khair Johari. So Khair will share his new solution on treating damaged cartilage.
Assalamu alaikum and a very good morning to all. Focal cartilage defect is a common injury that happens to active people and young people. It occurs in the articular surface of the knee. Without any treatment, this would lead to osteoarthritis. Every year, there is 90,000 people that need cartilage repair. The treatment nowadays is autologous chondrocyte implementation, whereby we transplant the patient's own stem cell to the cartilage defect area. However, the carrier for stem cell is synthetically fabricated, marketed commercially, and costs thousands of ringgit for a small piece. For example, in the market now is a product called Hyalofast, which costs 10,000 ringgit per surgery. So this would be a problem for some people who can't afford, for example, the B40 population and also the pension scheme people. To overcome this problem, and with the Malaysian, and in line with the Malaysian 10 to 10 MICE, we want to create a more cost-effective solution, which is the same or even better result for the cartilage regeneration. So we are proposing to use a common clinical waste called the human amniotic membrane. It will act as a scaffold as a carrier for stem cell focal cartilage defect repair. This is a green technology, so instead of wasting this human amniotic membrane, why don't we use it to treat people and to make profit as well? Why HAM is because this time treatment is faster. It has a substrate for chondrogenic differentiation of MSCs. It mimics stem cell niche, and it is an ideal carrier for stem cell transplantation. So with this ham seeded with autologous MSC, it must be registered with the NPRA and MDA as a combined cell and gene therapy product. To achieve this, we as scientists are collaborating with stakeholders, which include orthopedic surgeons and stem cell companies such as MySato Health Sudian Berhad. We have granted a patent for this ham MSCs and will be an income for affordable and a readily available product. 90,000 patients for treatment would undoubtedly be an income generating product at the university and the government. To conclude, we believe that we can produce an effective scaffold for cartilage regeneration out of clinical waste and at the same time cut cost burden of these operations on the patient and the government. Thank you.
Okay, all right. So you mentioned that you are collaborating with the orthopedic surgeons, and it means it is individual parties, right? I mean, or any society of orthopedic surgeon, I'm not sure. And also the stem cell companies. So, but have you got any agreement already being done in particular to that thing, or just you're planning to have them to collaborate with you?
Yes, we already have a patent and we already collaborate with the...
Already?
Yes.
Oh, you received some kind of letter of intent or any black and white agreement, or you already have your collaborative partners? Or not yet?
Yes, but to be honest, I'm not sure because this is a new. I mean, I'm not sure about that. I just came in, so I think yes.
Okay, I mean not yet lah.
Oh,
right?
okay.
Not yet. No black and white being signed, right? I just want to see where are you right now. Okay. your journey in this innovation? It's just a planning, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, actually, I just started last week. So yeah, okay, yes. Thank you, Doctor. We already developed that. Yeah, it's now in the prototype.
Thank you so much for the Talian Hayat. That is so unfair.
Yes. Right. Mm. Yeah. It's a,
I will pretend that I did not hear the Talian Hayat. So, so since the team has the patent on the invention, on what is your plan from now to or when it becomes commercialized? What are the things that you have to put into place in your strategy?
so our plan is once we made this, then we're gonna try to do it in the clinical trials. So we're gonna try to implement it and make it like a cheaper cost than the treatment nowadays.
So roughly how much? I mean, how much cost reduction do we expect?
I'm thinking about it will be cost less, with maybe like around 10% of the ACI, which is 9,000. So maybe lesser than 100.
All right, thanks.
Thank you so much,
Because we're just
Khair.
using human amnion.
Yeah, thanks.
All right, so we're going to put you head to head with a potential competitor, which is Nabila, which she's also working on a treatment for cartilage repair. And just a quick housekeeping announcement. So we are going to cut the Q&A to 3 minutes because the time is very envious of us. 3 minutes, yeah, judges? Thank you.
30.8% of Malaysian population in Klang Valley at the age of 55 and above is currently experiencing knee pain injuries. That is a 5% increment from the previous year data. So if we were to follow this trend, more than 50% of the population within the age of 55 and above will be experiencing knee injuries. Therefore, that is only in Klang Valley. However, the rest of Malaysia, how about other age population, and how about other causative of the knee injuries? Based on a 2021 Malaysian occupational statistic data, 78% of the workplace injury occurs to age group of 20 to 49 years old. Therefore, this younger population would be needing their joint a lot longer. Therefore, we need to make sure that these injuries become treated, or else it will prolong the health and financial issues, which will affect the quality of life of the patients. The current limitation for the existing treatments are using the medications and also surgery. However, the quality of regenerated tissue are not up to standard. Therefore, we propose our strategy of using our product, using our own cells and blood to overcome this issue, and they will have no harm and no rejection from our own body. This product is called BMAC Plus. It's a combination of bone marrow and also platelet-rich plasma, which is high in multiple various components such as cells and also growth factors that will facilitate the regeneration of the injured cartilage. So currently, the product is being processed minimally and also manually in the laboratory. Therefore, we wanted to work and collaborate with an industrial partner, such as a stem cell-based company, together with our orthopedic clinicians and our researchers, together with some engineers, where we can process it from bench to bedside. So it's a one-step processing technique that would be appealing to the clinicians. In Malaysia, there are currently 370 hospitals with 300,000 potential orthopedic patients. So from that orthopedic statistic, we target around 10% of the population that actually will have this early stage of cartilage injury. So this 10% market will be the target one because they will benefit the most from this early stage treatment. So in a nutshell, this BMAC Plus is a product where we can translate from bench to the bedside, where it can be delivered in a single syringe using a one-step automated processing method and delivered without any surgical intervention. Thank you.
Okay. First of all, I want to give you a compliment. You cover everything that we need in the pitch.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. It's very simple, sweet and simple, but we have everything. We have the statement, we have the solution, we have the collaborators, we have the lab results, the proof of concept, the market size, more or less okay for the pitching. Yeah. Okay. I want to know about the proof of concept. Okay, the proof of concept. You have the bone marrow and the platelet plasma from your own self, and then how it would be for the feasibility, for the feasibility of the studies, the results, how to convince that it will be feasible to the market.
Okay, currently for my study, we have already started in the preclinical stage where we use the animal own cells and own blood to do that. So from the outcome, the combination of these two products seems to give a comparable effect towards the healthy controls. So in terms of feasibility, it will be like once you come for a consultation, for example, in a clinical settings, once you agreed for the treatment, you will take the bone marrow biopsy. The same day, you can take the blood as well. Within few hours, you can already process in a centrifugation. It's a minimally manipulated. Therefore, there's no FDA is approved because it's a minimally own cells product. Okay. So in terms of safety, it's already proven efficacy-wise. However, in terms of the application worldwide, it's still a fairly new treatment because the combination is a fairly new treatment. Yes, I wouldn't say like really novel because PRP has been used for quite some time, proven to be effective. But the combination of it actually, growth factors and bone marrow itself are various type of cells. Because cartilage have a very, very low number of cells. So that will be the starting point for the treatment. So it's quite feasible. Thank you.
What are the challenges that you would expect in bringing this forward?
To be honest, currently in terms of awareness in terms of early detection and intervention. Usually patient who comes to the clinic already exhibit symptoms, which indicates an advanced stage of cartilage injuries already. Therefore, if it already advanced too much, they will always propose for a surgery. Because, for example, total knee replacement, that will cost up to $50,000. So we are trying to avoid that from become towards the later stage and from them to cost more financially. It's a burden. So therefore, if we can, for example, athletes, once they have like a traumatic injury, they could quickly get the treatment based on how the level of injury to get it better. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So let's proceed with the next participant. And we have Noor Shazliza, and she will be sharing her innovation on a new bone substitute. Thank you. Reported 240% in women and 310% in men.
over the years, we use a metallic bone implant we use in bone transplant, but it's non-degradable product. It's a release of metallic toxic, and it's poor stimulation of bone growth. So to address this gap, we developed a 3D synthetic bone implant that is biodegradable and easy to process. And its name is Osteomart. And then you can see the structure is similar to the bone, and it can produce in large quantity in lab and have a good mechanical properties. These commercialized strategies involve our team, stem cell and tissue engineering, University Malaya, in combination of University Technology Malaysia, which is a biomechanics team, and Monash University Pharmacology, and with collaboration with the company and manufacturer, we can work together to build up this bone implant. Roughly, if 300 hospital with at least 100 patients per year, with 200 ringgit cost, the total profit and NAM is 60 million, and B40 group also affordable for this treatment. This treatment follow the guidance of National Innovations of Science and Technology, and it's lead to the contribution for the economy of the country. And it's lead to 5 years in bone implant market segment. And by the combination of scientists, by combination of biologists, engineer, and companies such as Granule Labs, which is well-known produce the bone synthetic, we can overcome the problem of bone implant and transplantation. Thank you.
So, I mean, this is a very attractive kind of product. Where are the competitions come? Where do they come from? To compete against your product, yeah.
If we compare a few years back, we used the metallic bone graft in a surgery, in an orthopedic surgery. Then researcher developed a few synthetic bone graft with different combination, which is alone or in combination. But our product we produce in combination with ceramic, polymers, and seaweed. So the three combination is different from other product, which is plus this product is degradable, biodegradable, and it can degrade naturally in the body while it promotes the bone formation, new bone formation. So it's different. Other product, they don't degrade naturally in the body. Yeah.
What is stopping the other researchers, the other groups of people from coming up with this biodegradable formulation as well?
They use different combination, which is well-known. Granule Lab, they use the hydropeptide and different combination, different material. But I use the ceramic because we know the calcium, well-known, is similar to the bone, we can see they look like similar to the bone, our human bone, and a combination with the, because they said after the surgery they have a complication complication after the injury. So the added value with the seaweed, which is antibacterial and anti-cancer, we may lead to the different product from others.
Okay, from your opinion, is it easy to find the seaweed for this manufacturing?
That's the main challenge of our project, because we need to outsource from US and certain are from China. And as I mentioned before, I mentioned earlier, the bone graft substitute from the US, they can earn 3.98 billion per year. But if we, Malaysia, can produce our own material, then it's a good for the researcher to get the raw material compared to we get from others.
One of the failure factors is fail to get the feedstock. That is the most in the supply chain. For the feedstock, the resource material is the most problematic factors. Yeah, you have to think of that. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for your pitch. So let's proceed with our third last participant, which is Peggy Kong.
Hello. Good morning, everyone. The title for my speech today is Pressing the Stop Button for OA. So osteoarthritis is the most common joint degenerative disease that it affects 300 million people worldwide per year. It causes joint disability, and yet there is still no cure for this disease. The existing treatment, such as analgesic drugs like paracetamol and anti-inflammatory drugs like NSAIDs, they are all working on pain relief. And the efficacy of this drug on relieving symptoms, that it is relatively low. While this disease is not halted, the progression is not stopped, the patients with OA will eventually have to undergo surgery, which is not always an affordable option to everyone. Okay, as we can see, previous work from pharmacological approaches has been focusing a lot on pain relief, symptom relief, and yet the results are still unsatisfactory. So now, it is the time to focus on disease-modifying drugs. The current society, the patients, they need a drug that really target the real processes that are responsible for the disease, to halt the disease progression, to stop the disease from progressing into late-stage OA. So today, we are here to propose our drug, roxadustat. Roxadustat is a newly founded drug that has been accepted for clinical use in several developed countries like South Korea and Japan since last year. And this year, July, it has also been approved for clinical use in UK as well. So the beauty part of this disease-modifying drug, roxadustat, it resembles the nature of articular cartilage. In other words, it can protect the cartilage better. It will exert a protection for the cartilage against the pathogenic factors that will predispose cartilage to OA. So it is more promising to preserve the cartilage integrity. Now, ladies and gentlemen, as the old saying goes, prevention is always better than cure. In 2018, FDA has labeled OA as a serious disease with an unmet medical need. Therefore, there is an urgent need for disease-modifying drugs like roxadustat. There is a lack of specific treatment in OA. There is a high prevalence of this disease. Certainly, the development of this drug, disease-modifying drugs like roxadustat, will be the major breakthrough in the treatment for OA by pressing the stop button for OA. Thank you.
Despite of all these advantages by the roxadustat, the new drugs, right, being used in this innovation, what are the drawbacks? Because I'm afraid for the mass scale, for the commercialization, so you have to think about the drawbacks of that main ingredients.
Because this drug, at first it was used for anemia patients, so there might be a possibility that it's not suitable for patients that already has iron deficiency. So this is the current concern for this drug.
So your device can detect the iron deficiency at the same time? Because it will be harm for the iron deficiency patients, right? So any countermeasures for that?
Okay, this drug, so before its administration to the patients, we will have to take some extra precautions, like to check whether the patients, the OA patients that have like certain conditions like iron deficiency, if they have like this kind of limitations, then they might be not suitable for this drug.
What's your strategy for the business growth of this
For this drug?
Drug, yeah.
Okay. The current business strategy, well, the insight of disease-modifying drug is still at its infant stage. So, going to the launching to the market, there will be still more work need to be done. So, business strategy is still under evaluation. That we will have to plan more for the business strategy of this drug.
Any evidence that the drug work? I mean, clinical evidence that from like randomized control trial or that show that this drug work?
Okay. This drug actually has been widely used in chronic kidney diseases. In terms of osteoarthritis, there are similar drugs in preclinical stage. Yeah. So there are some data supporting the use of this drug. Thank you.
Thank you, Peggy, for your potential innovation of repurposing a drug. So next in line, we have Rufaida Uthman, where she will be sharing her innovation on cell-based therapy using mesenchymal stem cell.
Hi, good morning. My name is Rufaida Osman, and today I'm going to share about cartilage injury. So, cartilage injury has been widely known. Cartilage injury is the most prevalent joint injury worldwide, and 66% of the knee diagnosis shows that cartilage is injured. And 4 million people are suffering due to cartilage injury each year. So, as we know, cartilage is lining the knee joint and protects the cushion, protects the bone and provides the cushion to absorb shock from the weight-bearing area. And cartilage injury is painful. It is causing less mobility, and it can affect any age starting from 15 to 65 years old, especially for those that are highly active and athletic and having athletic lifestyle. So cartilage is not self-repaired, and for over a long time, it can be induced and becoming osteoarthritis, which is a disease that can deteriorate the cartilage much more further, and this can induce the bone-to-bone friction. And the conventional treatment for this type of injury is the surgical as well as the non-surgical treatment, such as the painkiller, knee replacement. But for my market niche, I'm using cell-based therapy, especially using mesenchymal stem cells or MSC, because this MSC can differentiate or change into cartilage cells. So bone marrow is the gold standard of source of MSC currently in the clinical practice. But however, it is very invasive, as well as it is a lot of procedures, a lot of puncturings in the bones, and it is very painful. So our research team trying to provide an alternative by using MSC from peripheral blood, which is less invasive. So for our research, we are using PBMSC, which is peripheral blood from MSC, with the combination with PRP, the platelet-rich plasma. So with the combination of these both treatments will, from our observation, induce the reparative effect of the cartilage. And so the mechanism of the MSC is to induce the signaling pathway to create an environment so that the cartilage can be induced and repaired, and the PRP will induce the cell recruitment as well as the cell division. So we have an established team from our research side, such as the scientists, stem cell scientists, the surgeons, the industrial, such as the MyCenter Health. So thank you so much.
If you market it, how much do you estimate is the cost for the treatment?
It will probably cost around 10 to 20 Malaysian ringgit. Yeah. Because if observed from the global market, it's usually around 20-25 USD, but because this is an Asia Pacific country, so the marketing is much more cheaper compared to those developed countries. So it is around 10 to 20,000 ringgit, Malaysian ringgit.
Your future commercialization partners, your collaborators, how will they choose yours compared to the other cartilage injury innovations that have just been presented?
Sorry?
How are they going? What's the
Different.
difference? Why would they choose your innovation over the previously presented ones? Yeah.
Okay. My treatment is very straightforward. It's very simple and easy, fast. I would like to usually compare my treatment with those MSC from bone marrow because that is very invasive. I think that is kind of encouraging people to come to get treatment. So peripheral blood is mainly, it's a healthcare routine, daily routine in the healthcare where they take blood for medical checkup and everything. So we are trying to use this kind of approach where instead of blood testing and everything, we take the blood also for MSC storage. And we can use that further when they need it, when they have the cartilage injury. Yeah.
All right. Which method would you prefer for your business strategy? Is it a B2C or is it B2B? Which is more promising for you? Business to customer or business to business?
I think both. Because the first one, the business to customers is what I understand is from mouth to mouth. So I'm sure that if the treatment is effective, easy, and also effective, I would say that people that have the same problem would be interested enough to get this kind of treatment instead of going for those treatment that are much more invasive. In terms of the B2B, business to business, I think the cost is not much different, but I think it is promising because the word less invasive is being used here because we know that the conventional method is using surgery. Other than surgery is non-surgical treatment, which is the painkiller, which is not even treating the injury. It's just killing away the pain, but the cause of the pain is still there.
Yeah.
So it can deteriorate into osteoarthritis eventually. So yeah, I think that's my answer. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for your for sharing your innovation. Now we have our last participant, which is Shalini, and Shalini will be sharing her potential use of adiponectin for improving tendinopathy. Welcome to the stage.
There are more than 30 million cases of tendon injury that has been reported worldwide annually. And in Malaysia, 80% of tendon injuries are basically contributed by athletes. And as we know, tendon injury is a disorder that has poor response to treatment, and there's a tendency for re-injury to occur. So therefore, there has been exploration in alternative treatments, and this has propagated mesenchymal stem cells, MSC, as a promising candidate to overcome this issue because it has therapeutic characteristics as well as it is able to form tendon-like cells. However, despite its benefit, these MSCs, this fate of these MSCs at the site of injury remains unclear. In fact, there has been reports that shows inflammation reduces the efficacy of MSC. So therefore, we here are proposing the use of adiponectin, a protein that we can find in our body as a hormone, and which is produced by our fat tissues. Where in our study we can see that a small amount of adiponectin lead to the increase in the efficiency of MSC. yes, there have been previous animal studies that have shown that generally stem cells is enough to overcome tendon injury. But we need to look at the healing mechanisms behind this and healing mechanisms behind it, so that we can further improve the tendon regeneration after the transplantation to the site of injury. When we look at clinical trials, there are less than 10 papers that have been produced in the span of 5 years, the past 5 years, because there still is a gap between experimental research and clinical trial. This is because there is a need to optimize parameters such as the fate of these stem cells at the site of injury. So therefore, by using adiponectin here, which is a protein that has manifested multiple therapeutic characteristics, at the same time, we only need it in a small amount for a shorter amount of time. We can use it as a improvement tool in MSC-based therapy. So in our study, since it's a preliminary study, we need to do further animal model work, develop animal model, and also clinical trials to actually look at the safety and efficacy of this incorporation of this treatment. And but it is worth to note that it is an exciting opportunity because it is basically promising a treatment that is more economical, efficient, and effective in treating this problem. And okay, thank you.
So is the product ready to be marketed, say like tomorrow, or is still under development?
No, it's still in the preliminary data in vitro stage. So in order to further justify it, we have to do animal model and clinical trials.
You mentioned that this is in the preliminary studies.
Yeah.
In your patent search, in the prior art search, what is the closest to your approach that has already been patented by the others?
Okay. Many people have used to overcome inflammation. They have a specific anti-inflammatory cytokines that they use to overcome this. But so separately, overcome the problems of inflammation, and also another one to improve such as growth factors for this MSC. But since with this product, adiponectin, we are combining both. Together we get the same effect. Together, yeah. We have separate products, but not together. Thank you.
Okay, since you are still in the development process, right? So it's good also to think about the recurrence of the disease. So what is the percentage of the recurrency? Reoccurrence. So what I mean is, we want to find the unique selling proposition of our invention, right? So if you use your product, and then how long it will last to be not affected by the tendon injury for the second time or third time or fourth time.
Okay, because since we are looking at injury, that's usually the inflammatory phase is only lasting for a few weeks before it progresses to the remodeling phase. So we are using this product within that week. And since if we introduce this product within that week, it will overcome the inflammation phase. And naturally, as the disease progresses, it goes past the inflammation phase. So it no longer then requires the effect of this product. Because we are looking at injury, it's not really a progressive disease.
All right, just wondering about the expansion of the business, yeah? So does this protein, the adiponectin, can also be used for the spasm problem, for the muscle pain and whatnot?
So far, there hasn't been any reports on that, on muscle spasms. It's more on the inflammation side.
Yeah, why I ask, because most of the muscle spasm problem, reoccurrence, you know. Yeah, once you cure, and then maybe a few months again, it will come back. So just wondering, since we are here, in this invention of medical faculty, so if you can come out with something, that's just an idea.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Shalini. So that is our last participant for the idea pitch competition. So to all 14 participants, well done. You have done a great job. And can I have a round of applause to all our participants? Moving forward to our closing ceremony, we're going to give the judges a 5 minutes buffer, a quick intermission for everyone to go for a quick a comfort break. And then we're going to start our closing ceremony in 5 minutes. All right, everyone. While waiting, during the buffer, I bet all of you are very curious because we see like a lot of kids with lab coats. So we would like to give them some prize. So this is under a kids science lab program, and we would like to invite Prof. Sanjay on the stage. So in total, we have 23 potential young doctors and young scientists. Oh, they're over there. Okay, so we have the first kid, which is Firaz. Firaz, welcome up the stairs. And second, Alina. Alina can follow to Firaz. And then we have Azza. So all the participants will receive a certificate and also a medal. Okay. And we have Alina here. Followed by Azza. And then Yusuf. All right, Yusuf. And then we have Elsa. And Anhika. And then, okay, and Rania. And after Rania is Elidora. Okay. It happens, it happens. Okay, Elidora, there you go. Ethan. And after Ethan is Ryan. And Kwar Eung Jin. Followed by Mithias Chong. And his younger sister, Olivia Chong. Followed by Sean. And also his younger sister, Gania. And then we have Raiden Loy. Followed by Rayan Loy. So we have a lot of siblings here. And then Tin Kwan. And then we have a sibling, Darwish and Danish. Darwish and Danish. And also another sibling team from homeschooling program, Taejin and Joyhon. So unfortunately, Taejin is not here today, so we have just we have Joyhon. Okay. Tarakesh. And also our last recipient is Kishore. Okay, thank you so much, everyone. So those are the kids that have participated for the Kids Science Lab program under our carnival. Hello.
Oh.
Okay, everyone, we have come to the very end of Research Carnival, which is the closing program. For those who have missed some of the programs, we would like to invite the chair, the person who have worked really hard, Dr. Jasmine Lim, and the team also, to give a quick overview and some highlights of this 3 days event. Welcome, Dr. Lim.
Hi, everyone. How are you feeling today? Good? Yes. What about the participants for the idea competition? Okay, great. So I guess you feel less nervous now. Yes, I'm the one that getting nervous because I have 3 minutes to go. All right, still. Okay, so I still remember the days when I actually received a message from Prof. Sanjay. Prof, do you remember the date that you sent me the message? It's actually on the 11th of April. At 2:59 p.m., I received a message from Prof. Sanjay to call me for this national service. He told me that, Jasmine, there is a annual FOM Research Carnival coming up in October. Would you like to chair it? So, guys, guess how long do I take to make the decisions to accept or decline the invitation? Sorry? 3 minutes? Any other thoughts? Just say yes, or a day or two. Okay, so basically I took about 5 minutes to make up my mind, and then I actually accept the challenge because I've never done this before. It's a good opportunity for us to actually test out how good our networking is and test out whether our friends is really our true friends to help us out, you know? Okay. So the first thing that actually when I accept the invitations is actually the very first thing that I think about is the team that I really want to do for this time. So actually I have chosen it for celebrating innovations, industry and engagements. Reasons because we all are chasing our KPI. We all are actually chasing our excellence in our academic career, but we can never leave our industry partners, our community behind. Okay, so this is how we actually plan our program. So for day one, we actually have the My Heart Studies under the CPF Symposium. So we learned about the prevalence of cardiovascular risk factor in adults and pediatric patients. All right, then after that, we learn about what are the interventions that are being introduced by the team. And this follows by the second sessions, which is actually on the mental health care. We learn about the apps, and there's another app called Gempa to actually help patients to quit smoking. And we also learn about the initiative of them helping those with drug abuse. All right? So moving on to the plenary lectures, we learned from Prof. Yasmin regarding the importance of learning the policies that are actually set by the nations to navigate the futures of your research. All right? Moving that to second day, we actually have two innovators from Faculty of Medicine, Prof. Vicky and Prof. Wu, to share about their innovations in the community and also in the industry. And we also have Prof. Ivy and Dr. Bong, each from the UMCIE and the ILO office, to give us an overview. What are the support that we have from the university to drive our commercializations journey? All right. On the day two, we also very fortunate to have HoloLens from Hologram Indonesia with a partnership of Microsoft to taught us actually how to use HoloLens in healthcare education. So have any of you tried the HoloLens in the Centerpoint at their booth? Yes or no? No. Oh, okay, it's only one. Two, okay. That's great. At least there are 5 of them, including myself, that we try out the HoloLens as well. Then we know that this is the future forward. All right. On the day 3, we actually have the community engagement. We have verbal sessions. So verbal is actually a liaison to actually liaise the patients together with our service provider. So they actually share with us how much work that they have done and how the community actually benefits from this impact. All right. Following from there in the afternoon, we actually have the UM Cares program. So we learn about which mushroom that can be eaten and which are not, okay? And we learn about angioswing mushroom. You remember, Jamie's? No. So angioswing, is it edible? Oh, yeah, so she got it right. So she did listen to the lectures, okay? So we learned about mushroom education. So we also learned about exergaming, okay, which is e-sports that they use to help patients to recover from their disease, or to make patients, to make all of us more active, all right? And coming to the end on today, we actually have the Magna Grant Talk to tell us about the tips and tricks, how to win a grant from independent organizations. And finally, to wrap it out, we have these idea pitching competitions, okay? Where you learn to project your problems, what is the solutions, what is it, how does it actually fit into that market, okay? So it looks like a very all-rounded programs, and of course, I could not do this by myself, okay? I will actually have a team to run this together with us. So right now, this is a very important moment because there is a long list of people that I would like to thank on today, all right? So, so for the secretariat, we actually have Azlina. Azlina, I think she went to pick up her kids. So she's actually my program manager, all right? She oversees the whole flow of the program. I think she picked fantastic MCs for all my sessions, including today, Maya. Okay, and after that, we have Shafiq and team. So you see all these beautiful posters, publicity materials, actually designed by Shafiq. Shafiq, where are you? Raise your hand. Okay, it's by Shafiq and Fazida. Fazida, where are you? Raise your hand. Okay, and also we have Amy. Amy just delivered her baby last Friday, but she was actually working on the posters during her late trimesters, okay? And next, very important, you cannot run any activities without money, right? So although we get some funding from the faculty, and yet we have Jamie. Jamie, all right, Jamie is actually the lead for our sponsorship, okay? And the cash money that she raised for us is more than what we get from the faculty. So congratulations. All right, and also, and not forgetting that she actually just came back from her maternity leave. So she started working on this on September to October, so it's 1 month, okay, to work on the sponsorship. Very tight deadline that I give you. Thank you for accepting the challenge. And next is actually our research office from in the Faculty of Medicine. So we have Linda. They're handling all my paperwork. She received my love letters always at 5 o'clock in the morning. Then we have Moo. She actually helped us to manage the finance. Zamri, where are you? So Zamri actually handled the logistic, okay? Anything that I ask her, I will ask him to move around. I think I sent him a lot of messages and emails during the preparations. And also we have Tengku and Faizah as well. They helped us really a lot during the events. And nevertheless, we also have Amir and Azizi from UMCAS actually help us to plan our community programs. And we have Chin Hai, okay? Chin Hai is the lead for our HoloLens and Microsoft partners, so we have both of them here. Okay, wow, the list is really long, okay? And we also have Tiba. Tiba, where are you? Oh, so Tiba and team actually take care of the STEM school program, so that's why where you see all the kids are here, they were actually running some workshops, so the kids actually go through all the stations, including anatomy, physiologies, and genetics genetic stuff, you know, for their science exposures. So last but not least, I would like to thank Shams and the visibility team. So the visibility team actually include the events team, graphic designers, and photographer, and also the IT team. So actually, I want to give a big shout out to the IT team. Hello, Abang in the control room, because they are actually the first one to come into the hall, okay, to prep everything, and they are the last one to actually leave the hall, okay, to make sure everything is in line. So, so ladies and gentlemen, the future is now, and the change must come from all of us. So together, working with other universities like, okay, my friend Wan Fazila from UITN, and also Dr. Rosita from UTN, They are both actually our LIVE alumni that we joined in the London. So this is how you see your networking and your friendship works, especially when you having events, okay? And also Prof. Ong, actually she's my boss. Thank you for giving me a 1 week break. You know, I didn't do anything at the department because I was here. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, together we can actually build a better world and we can shape a better future, okay? I think everyone should actually work together as a team, all right? We should actually move our research and fit into the market and commercialize it, all right? And the biggest impact that we can actually create from our innovation is actually in the community and also in the industry. Okay, with that, thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Jasmine Lim, and also to the rest of the team for going above and beyond for this research carnival. Can we have another round of applause, everyone, to this amazing team around the hall? All right, I hope the participants for session 8, the idea pitching, they are all here. Everyone's here. We are ready to give, the judges have calculated the marks. So we would like to call Prof. Sanjay to give the prizes. So we have 3 winners. Okay. Yeah. Yes, Prof. Sorry. So, the third position that will go home with a trophy and also 100 ringgit Grab voucher goes to Nabila Raza from Orthopedic Surgery Department. The second place, going home with a trophy and also 150 ringgit Grab voucher, goes to Ahmad Fuad with his innovation called To Heal. Sorry. And the first place, going home with a trophy and 200 ringgit voucher, goes to Chen Lao Yun. Congratulations with his telemedicine application. Well done to all winners, and to the rest of the participants, well done for participating and putting yourself forward. Okay, so next is also another prize giving ceremony. So if all of you have registered, you will take a lucky draw, and you guys will have stand a chance to win a night stay at Dorset Putrajaya. All right, but come on, Dr. Krishna, you're leaving. All right, good. We need a photograph for everyone. Just a few more moments to capture this. Yeah, and you might win a Dorset stay. Okay. And also an Aeon voucher out of nowhere. Okay, so Prof. Sanjay will pick the first, lucky number. Please be mine. A44. Any A44? Oh, there we got a winner, A44 at the back. That will be going home with a Aeon voucher, 50 ringgit. And all right, so Dorset is the grand prize. A11? A11. Oh, bukan you. Okay. False alarm. A11, no one, so pass. Next is B82. Anyone in the hall B82? Check your numbers. No takers. Oh, okay. Next. B60. Woohoo! All right, we have a student. B64. Anyone with B64? Okay. Next one is A10. A10. Okay. And this is the last one. Last A1 voucher goes to A04. Yay, all right. Someone is bringing back too many prizes. So this is the grand prize, which is a night stay at Dorset Putrajaya. Goes to B100. B100 in the hall. You? Organizing committee. I don't... Okay, it's an organizing committee. Oh, come on, Dr. Shafiq. All right. All right, congratulations to all winners. So this brings us to a wrap of the research week. And can we have everyone from both sides of the wing to get together, please? Oh, can we get a quick picture? Yeah.